All right, we are live. All right, hello and
Am I
welcome
live?
everyone
Hello.
to a new short saga for the Ring of Fire. This is entitled Island of the Lost. We will just get right into this, and we're going to start you guys all out on a ship. So, which one of you would like to go first, describing your character and describing your role on this said ship?
I'm happy to go second.
All right. I'll jump in first then.
All right,
Awesome. Okay,
Attaboy.
so towards the back of the ship, perhaps even in the below the decks, where there is the mess hall, the kitchen, the storeroom, somewhere in that region, there in the back of the ship, hidden away from the blistering sun, is a
Yep.
young woman of strange fey characteristics. She has about 6-inch long horns which protrude from the top of her auburn flaxen hair, which is short. She has two doe-like deer ears which extend from either end of her head. She has large, extremely large, almost alien-like eyes, and they shine with. Just mute yourself. Sorry, Phil, if you can. I'm getting a lot of background stuff.
Sorry.
That's right. Yeah, so she has large eyes, which are sort of a crystal-like cyan, and angular features. She is of the Fey species, but unless you are one from the great distant land of Rodaland or the Kingdom of Thru, you would not probably recognize her, maybe even probably think that she is some sort of female satyr, but she is a Bobbin she. She is a creature of the Darkwood. But now she finds herself upon this ship in the middle of the ocean, in the tropics, close to the Ring of Fire. And she's there, she's wearing a green sort of cowl, a large green cloak that she wraps around herself, tied together with a copper pendant with an icon of some sort of kind, some sort of religious iconography upon it. She's there, tending to various meats, but she's there mainly to get food herself. As she handles the food, these fish which are caught and thrown into these large barrels, her long taloned fingers are darting in and out of these barrels of fish, and as she is, for some reason, she's stabbing these things with her fingers, and then simply throwing them back into the barrel. But the fish, as they're thrown back inside the barrel, they seem less. They seem shriveled. As perhaps the ogre chef is like, get out of there. As she kind of screams, cowers back, and tends back towards her role as she's cleaning the back end of the ship. I'll pass it off to another person.
all right. Phil, you said you wanted to go next.
All right, unmuted. No worries. Most of the crew, most of you guys wouldn't have heard my character speak or had much interaction with him. He kind of sits in the hold of the ship amongst the cargo. At first glance, it kind of looks like a pile of rubbish with just like rags and straw and surrounded by just like a whole bunch of plants in like various earthenware bowls. Crew members go down there with broken bits of like block and tackle and like a wooden handle of something which is cracked, or basically anything to do with just carpentry, and they just come back with a with a beautifully recarved or efficiently remade wooden item. As the ship's carpenter, I handle a lot of the stuff on the ship which breaks, as well as making sure that we don't spring too many leaks from like within the bowels of the ship. Probably the most you would have seen of my character when you would go down into the hold with like a broken bit of wooden machinery of some kind is this long arm, which is about it will be about like almost 5 feet long, protruding from out this disheveled pile, and slowly reaching with gigantic gnarled fingers. The arm itself appears to be made of some sort of wood, some sort of timber, with bark attached, and often like lichen or like bits of leaves sticking out of it, and the earth and smell coming from underneath the coming from that area of the ship gets significantly stronger as it grasps whatever item you're holding and then tenderly caresses it, bringing it back into the rubbish in the bow of the ship. So yeah, that's probably the most you would have seen my character. And like, he doesn't really talk to many people, keeps himself to himself. Late at night, if you're in that area, you would hear a deep rumbling, which could be his voice. He could be singing, he could be laughing. You're not entirely sure. It's probably not in a language which you would know. And yeah, that's all.
Definitely, I'll just add, just as you're down on the deck doing your sort of carpentry sort of skills, I do this small 5'2" creature does take an interest in you, as if she approaches you tentatively, bewildered, and even seemed calmed by her presence. As at various points, I inspect this strange tree-like individual, looking for, I don't know, maybe squirrels or other small rodents that I can eat and take sustenance from. But I sort of take a very interest in you. Yeah.
In that case, if somebody would take an interest in me, who I would probably see as some sort of child, you'd probably be in possession by now, depending on how long the ship's been going of a. Let's kind of roll for this quickly. Yeah, pretty well carved. A pretty well carved deer, or of some kind. Probably made from some sort of pine, as most ships are, with an offcut from something. You now have a cute wooden toy. Because, I have a forte in carving. May as well use it. And anyway, next person.
As the
That's
the camera
to the next person.
pans. Oh, sorry guys. As the camera pans from the pile of refuse and kind of scans across the,
true.
across the deck, you'll see the seas are warm and calm, and you'll slowly find yourself gazing upon the tall, abnormally huge figure of a golden skinned Freyine. His hair, which is a thick mane of beet red hair, is currently a bit, probably a little bit more disheveled. He hasn't been bathing in possibly a handful of days, and he stands there leaning against the side of the ship, or I suppose the railing of the ship, and you'll see him take an onion out of kind of a pouch in his belt, and he'll take a bite out of it like it's an apple. As he does so, he kind of shoots a kind of a stink eye at anyone who's watching him eat this apple like it's a fruit. He is about just shy of 200 pounds, and he stands a 6'9", abnormally enormous for his species. And male, of course. He's quite beautiful, but he has a demeanor about him where he's abrasive and not terribly approachable. And that is Kel.
Well, after you pan from this abnormally huge Freyne eating onions and casting glares upon people, you pan to a short turtle-like creature hobbling along the deck. Those underneath would hear his large, heavy thumps as he patrolled and made his rounds upon the surface of the deck. He was hired on as a mercenary to protect the cargo and the people of the ship, and he does his job diligently. He spends his days patrolling the ship and making sure everything is going smoothly. He is a Chthon, but unlike most of his species, he has a heavy, thick shell, and his hide is especially thick. His beak is rather large and sharp, glistens when the sun hits it right. He stands roughly 5 foot tall, but he's a good 250 pounds. He lumbers about the deck with his spear and his war pick at his side, always vigilant, never watching. Never really interacts with anyone unless they cause a disturbance or they're in need of his assistance, as he diligently patrols the ship to make sure that everything is going according to plan.
As you pass and make your rounds, Kel will cease his glare and then offer you an onion as you pass, just kind of with a devious wink.
I obviously I decline, for I'm a carnivore, but I just gaze at him with my little beady eyes. I don't engage him in conversation. I just look at him normally, and then I just go about my business, assuming that he's
speaking Theban.
I just assume that he's playing some sort of trick on me, making fun of me. So I just don't pay him any mind and continue about my patrol.
Jono, just real quickly.
Yeah.
This guy's playing Tony Abbott.
Stop it. Okay. Yes. So So after in this moment when our Chthon catalyst is sort of patrolling, a small figure, the Bob and she emerges from below decks, looking up into the sun and putting her hood across her head so that she can gain as much respite as possible from the scorching that is the sun.
As you look up at the sun, you notice that in the distance, a group of thunderbirds is coming near the ship. They're on their way towards the ship now. They're not quite here yet, but as you look up into the sky, you see them in the distance.
So I sort of gaze at them sort of absentmindedly, just the wonder that they inspire, the awesomeness that I haven't seen too often. As just then, I just basically just wander almost in the path of our Chthon catalyst here, before I dart out of his large sort of huge frame, this intimidating sort of thing. I sort of like cow back. I say, "Quartermaster." I just sort of like nod and just sort of like bow 3 times, like not knowing what to say. I say in Dazazese to you, "Quartermaster, yes."
What's your problem? Is something wrong?
No. Sorry, I did not wish to be in your way. I will make room for you, please. And just sort of like bowing, and just.
There's no way. There's plenty of ship. You're not bothering me. As he just walks past.
Of course. I'm sort of walking past as well, just like, oh,
He also spoke
And
to
I
you
had
at his A's.
Yeah, sick. So I move over to the the mountain, the titan that is the strange golden statue at the end of the ship. A small figure wrapped in green cloak approaches you, you Rafe, and she's carrying two more onions in her hands, as she's gone down to fetch what you've requested, and she's diligently just giving these to you. I sort of like eye you with sort of a creepy stare, as if I'm trying to, I don't know, like I'm inspecting you, or I'm trying to match your face against something else. But it's just sort of like a peer at the side of your corner of your eye.
You'll catch his eye, and he'll just wink. You don't know if there's any seduction attached to that, but he does kind of murmur, "Oh, thank you, my dear." Taking the onions.
Yeah, I don't say anything. I just hand the onions to you before I then gaze back towards the thunderbirds, and I say, the one who is of the tree down below, he said that they are called thunderbirds, and that they come from a creator, and that they are stolen. That what do they do? I kind of point towards at the thunderbirds.
Rain, weather, storms, possibly.
They say, he said that it is a bad omen when they gather like that.
We'll be all right. Nothing to fear here. I've seen this a handful of times, and nothing happens. Just taking the beauty of this.
The tree-like thing is probably going to start making his way up on deck for the first time in a while.
Yeah,
Just because...
got to get some sun.
Yeah, well, after being told that there's thunderbirds, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to have some more work to do. Kind of like shuffling up the stairs of this, like up to the upper deck. Yeah, he is really tall. Something like 7.5 foot tall. Having to stoop over, like, under everything, and like he never really gets above 5 feet just because he's so hunched over. He's wearing a wide Chinese type brim of straw hat with a cloth mask which covers his face, and there's two tusks which protrude out from either side of this just cloth mask, obscuring who knows what. And yeah, he's covered in layer upon layer of what once may have been multicolored rags. It just ends up all being a drab shade of dirt brown as he kind of shuffles up. You see him place his hand against the mast and like just kind of just go like, oh, and then like shake his head slowly. And yeah, he does smell a lot like, like a farm. He smells like a farm. Yeah, so there's manure there and stuff as well. And he just kind of sees the little person that he likes, and then walks over, kind of hobbling, like leaning on this like really thick carved staff, and just like takes his time, it looks like, and eventually gets there and without saying a word just stands behind them, behind the Titan and the child.
You'll be standing next to me then. I wouldn't have taken my eyes off a walking tree. But as soon as Kel looks at you, there's somewhat of a flash of not necessarily disgust, but uneasiness, being as well or moderately well traveled as he is, that aversion to wood or anything resembling a tree, you'll never get rid of it, especially working on wooden ships. But he'll mask it very well and just smirk. Goes, you're not hiding anymore, I see. Have you come to take root? And I don't know, there's a lot of dirt around. He's legitimately poking fun on you.
Yes, I was going to ask that myself. Are you going to grow trees and acorns, and will you become land?
I do so enjoy pears, so I hope he is a fruit-bearing tree. I'll shoot a wink at the Bubba Chief.
Storm comes.
Storm? Like, you mean that over there? And I point towards the Chthon.
And like he shakes his head slowly. And like he raises like a ridiculously long hand to point at the sky. God's angry. Just taking his time. He doesn't speak very fast. And like basically just turns to leave, remembers something, turns back around. This takes about like 30 seconds because he is slow. And protrudes from within the rags a small but intricately carved fish. And then like he hands it over to the child. Between two fingers.
So I hold up sort of a taloned hand with 3-inch long claws and nails, talons almost. They just come out. They're black and they look eldritch and sort of glow with a reddish hue. As I grab this tiny fish with in between these claws, and I hold it up and I look at it and I just look confused. I just give it over to the Freyne. I just hand it to you.
He'll go ahead and take it. Is this possibly a effigy for Leviathan by chance?
You see the tree make a very low and effort, like he tries to shrug, but his shoulders are so like drooping and low. It takes him a while.
Slow motion shrug. Gotcha.
Yeah.
He'll just smirk and place the fish in a belt pouch.
I'm gonna. So you don't know what my character sounds like now. I'm gonna be speeding it up by using just like normal talking voice, but just assume that everything I'm saying is taking 3 times longer.
Nice.
Roger that.
Yeah. He's just going to say, be careful. And then kind of wave to the child that he gave the fish to and turn around and galumph back below decks.
As you sort of slowly travel through the ship back towards your location, I'm gonna stay up on deck for a little while and just kind of try and stay in the sun, try to stay out of the sun in the shadows, and kind of look at those strange ephemeral things in the sky which look like they're approaching.
And as you look upon them, you see they're getting ever closer, almost as they're picking up speed as they near the ship. And then, cuts to Rockbeak as you're on your patrol of the ship. You hear heavy footsteps coming towards you. You see a large red-skinned ogre, about 8 feet tall, with bulging muscles and a large, massive chunk of iron of a sword that he keeps, that he holds off in his offhand. That he carries with him wherever he goes. This is Ozig, the captain of the ship. This man is the one who hired you after he saw your ferocity in combat, and he approaches you. He speaks in Dazay's. Rockbeak, the storm. It's going to make things uneasy here. This is going to be a big one.
I can't fight the weather.
No, but keep the peace. Everyone will be crowded below deck, besides for the most experienced sailors. Crowded people, scared like rats, make trouble.
Rockbeak will keep the peace. That's what you hired me for.
Good. Now start rounding them up. Get them below deck now.
As you say. As Rockbeak hobbles off, he goes over to everyone above deck and tells them that it's time to go below deck. Eventually makes his way over to the lumbering Frayne. Alright, Frayne, it's time to go below deck. Storm's coming.
There will be somewhat of a disapproving sigh that escapes Kel's lips. Oh, all right then. He looks down at his small companion. Shall we?
I look nervously at the Thunderbirds approaching quickly. Yes. Let's go. And I very quickly just get out of there. Extremely quickly.
No need to rush. Orderly fashion. As Rockbeak goes off
I
and
rush.
gets all the other people above deck and gets them below.
Kel will calmly walk down. Probably find his hammock below ship. What kind of ship are we on? Is it a ore ship or closer to like a caravel?
It is closer to a caravel.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, he'd be sleeping in a hammock. Sorry, go for it.
So after everyone's shepherded below deck by Rockbeak, as the last person goes below deck, you begin hearing heavy rainfall begin to start above the deck, and the ship starts rocking back slowly at first, and it gets ever more and more violent as the waves pick up. You can only imagine what the sailors above deck are having to experience right now, as the ship is more violent than any of you have ever seen before. Even those of you who are experienced with ships have never seen a storm quite like this. You can hear the exterior of the ship rattle as the winds beat against it and monster waves smash into it as the Leviathan himself is trying to claim your ship, as if someone or something has displeased him and that he seeks retribution for it. And you hear crashing of lightning and thunder outside, as well as heavy rain bombards the ship. You hear sparsely and separated screams above the ship as sailors scream to one another to secure this, bat, and that.
Are there any leaks coming in the bottom of the ship?
No, not right now. There are
Okay.
little leaks coming from the top, though, from the top deck where the sheer amount of water is leaking through, but not through the bottom yet.
I'm just going to position my potted plants underneath where the water is dripping.
Alright. So,
Wait it out.
Kel will take out that little fish totem and kind of rub it between his index finger and his thumb, and then probably mutter of the sutras to Leviathan, not with a little bit of an uneasiness in his tone, kind of regretting his decision to stay below deck when he probably should be topside helping.
And as you guys all gather down here, Rockbeak is having to go around. You have your hands full. People are starting to get a little bit scared. Some people try to go above deck to check out what's going on. You have to stop them from going up there and getting themselves killed or interrupting one of the sailors and getting them killed. You have to sometimes be a little bit more forceful with certain curious people or scared people who want to see what's going on.
Everybody just calm down. Unless you got experience, you're not going above deck. And if you're gonna vomit, make sure you vomit in one corner. We don't need it all over the floor. And just try to relax. It'll be all over soon.
Just as you say that, a drunken satyr vomits all over your back.
I just turn around slowly and look at him with my black beady eyes.
He backs away, you see some fear in his eyes. He speaks in Sindarin. Do you happen to speak that?
I do not.
All right. Well, you can't quite understand what he's saying, but he has a tone in his voice that you can tell that he's kind of scared of you, but you can't quite make out what he's saying.
I'd speak to him as you probably can't understand me, but you better be glad that I'm here to protect you, because if not, I'd be having goat legs for dinner. I kind of just push past him and and go about my business.
Would anyone like to do or say anything specific, or should I move the scene forward?
Yeah, as soon as someone accosts, and as far as I could see, attacks the Chthon, I'm sort of keenly watching and waiting if maybe there's going to be a fight and maybe there's going to be some free food available. So I'm just watching just with great interest, especially this succulent satyr. God, this is a good meal, man. So I get a little bit disappointed as then the satyr is just simply chastised and just pushed off. But I don't know, he is looking weak, so I'll keep an eye on that particular person. Just in the darkness of the hold below.
Nice. I'm gonna scrape off some of the vomit on the turtle's back onto a plant. If he'll let me. It depends. I just pull off one of my rags.
Rockbeak, as you're walking, you feel something rub against the back of your shell.
I told you once, Satyr. Oh. As I turn around, and I see this tree thing with a handful of vomit, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, go about your business then. So I turn around and just allow him to scrape off all the vomit he wants.
What did you say? Go back to business then. In sorry.
Dazaziz.
I'm just going to respond in the same language. Thank you. This takes about a minute to say.
He waits patiently. You're doing him a favor, getting all the vomit off his shell. So
no worries.
And then I would like for each of you to please make me a perception roll with the hearing forte if you have it.
All right.
Where do you want to post these?
You can either make them in Roll20, or if you're making them with dice in person, you can post them in the chat. The Hangout, post your results in the chat. All right. Phil, Did you make your roll?
Yep, posted in the chat of the Hangout.
Oh, all right.
Got a total of 10.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
Nice.
All right. So, Jono, you and Phil, both of your characters hear this, but the others can't hear it over the sound of the storms and the waves crashing. But Phil, you particularly, I'll do you first, and Jono, you hear more than this. So you hear something upstairs that sounds like a scream, but this sounds more like a scream of pain than of someone screaming something to another sailor, but you're not quite sure. You can't make out exactly what they're saying. But you do hear a scream that you would assume is pain. Someone could have been smashed against the mast or any number of things upstairs. There's any number of explanations for this. But Dono, you hear something a little bit more in depth. You hear the sounds of unmistakable sounds of combat above deck as you hear weapons clash and screams of pain and thuds upon the upper deck.
I used my special racial ability on the mast earlier, so I could get a better understanding of the Thunderbirds. Do I have any extra additional knowledge of what's happening upstairs?
From that, yes, you can actually. Thank you for reminding me of that. Let me just flip on and read the description.
Sure. So I'll just quickly react. Give you a chance to do that. So as I'm sort of eyeing the satyr hungrily, I suddenly my left ear sort of twitches to the left, and then boom, my head jerks, and I look up towards the direction of the sound. As then suddenly, as the rocking and rolling of the waves and the thunder and the storm is hitting, I hear the distinct sounds of a raid of perhaps even Ulfers of the Dark Wood out here, all the way out here. I thought I was safe, so I scream out in Ajiran, wolf raid attack before. So I start screaming out something. Firvara! Then realizing that no one's understanding me, I say in Dazaziz, attack! Ulfers in upstairs there. I look terrified, shaking as I start trying to get the attention of the big Chthon and even the giants. Everyone's here is a giant, so I just get the attention of all the giants here. And I start like jumping up and down. My hoofed feet are tapping against the deck. As sorry, I should have said this earlier. Inia, my name Inia, is panicking. She's pointing up on deck.
With kind of that frantic yelling, Kel will shoot a glance to her, and then he was about to light up I suppose an opium or a tobacco pipe, but he shoots a wicked grin at the stairway that goes to the upper deck. He'll quick deposit his pipe back in his pouch, and then slowly putting on his padded jerkin, making sure all of his weapons and armor are in place, always keeping an eye on that stairway.
If any of the people in the room, looking at the child incredulously, my character's just gonna rumble truth.
All right. Also, Phil, you can see because you've imprinted upon that mast.
Mm-hmm.
So I will describe to you what's going on up there. You see, up above, the one of the sailors is leaned against the mast, bleeding. You see that there are a multitude of these strange, almost like a cross between a frayine and a bird type thing. They have shark-like humanoid faces, and you see they have feathers where a normal person would have hair. They all seem to have an appearance to be male, but you can't be quite sure as you've never seen a creature quite like this before. And they all have 3 long feathers extending from where their hair would be. They all are roughly around 6 feet tall. They look rather well built. They also wield clubs that have what appears to be teeth embedded into the clubs as they battle with the sailors up above. Most of the sailors aren't combatants. The men that were left above weren't the guards of the ship. They were the men most experienced in manning a ship in a storm, and they're putting up barely a fight at all.
All right. Can I roll streetwise to see if I know what these things are,
Um,
or streetwise, or whatever you want?
Waterman, maybe?
yeah, Waterman. Waterman would probably be better. Yeah, that would be closer.
Okay. This is going to be a +1 to this roll, which is a 2 and a 7, bringing me to 9. So I get 10.
All right, you can fairly recognize. You're pretty sure these are sirens. You don't know like a whole lot about their culture, but you do know that they are considered very dangerous creatures of the sea.
They stole the Thunderbirds from us. I'm just going to say as loud as I can. I have no ranks in sing, so I like I'll roll for you if you want. But I'm just gonna say as loud as I can. Storm sharks.
You can say it loud enough so most people in this crowded area can hear you. Fine with no roll.
What language are you speaking?
I am going to probably be using Dazazian, which is the language which I've heard most of. Depending on the amount of ogres as well, or dracoid species, also probably in those languages. I'll do it anyway. I'll also say it in my native tongue. Just like it takes a while, but so I use Dazazian first.
Also, have any of you been keeping track of the days at all?
Kel absolutely would have been.
All right.
I have 1 in theology, so yes.
How much does each of you have in theology?
I have a 1 in theology and a 1 in academics.
All right.
1 theology, no academics.
And what about you, Kel?
I've got 3 academics, no theology.
And Rockbeak, would you be keeping track of the days at all?
He's got nothing in either one of them. He don't give a fuck.
All right. All right, Kel and Phil, you're both aware that today is the 45th day and Fatash's day.
Oh,
Traitor's Day. Oh, God.
Taking a few moments to actually do the calendar in his head, he finally realizes that, and you see this it over his face, just the whole dramatic eye roll. Oh, gods be damned. My armor is on at this point, and I've taken out my Kopesh.
Rockby's finally made his way to the ruckus of the for the tree man screaming and this little deer lady hopping up and down. He pushes past everybody and like, what's going on over here? Why's all the ruckus?
Ulfa's up on the deck. They're attacking. We have to get out of here. I start ready to bound up in here. We're trapped. As far as I'm concerned, we're gonna die. They're gonna cut us off. They're gonna kill us. They're gonna eat us. They're gonna. You have to get out of here.
Fuck. Yeah. Basically, I'm going to be basically protecting as much of my potted plants as I can.
Well, upon hearing the small deer lady scream all this, Rockby turns his attention to the sounds upstairs, and he's like, okay, I can go check it out. So he starts hobbling towards the stairs leading up to above deck.
And then as you get... Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say don't go alone, but it takes me too long to say it, so off you go.
All right.
Before you say that, I'm going to be right behind Rockbeak, right behind him. Just about as soon as the door is clear, I want to climb up on the mast and hide.
All right. So Rockbeak, you get up there, and as you get closer and closer to the door, the sounds of battle become more and more apparent to you.
Oh, it's all my name days came at once. Hey, pretty boy, come up here and help me kill some people. He says to the tall Freeing as he readies his spear and begins to open
Kelly's gonna
the
move
trap
to
door.
patch.
You walk out onto the deck as you see a few sirens dragging some still living sailors as well as the captain away in nets, with a good 10 more on the deck, finishing off some miscellaneous sailors as a small group detaches of about 4 and comes towards you.
I've got my Kopesh in my right hand, and I actually pull out the copper dagger under my belt in the offhand, and if I've got a clear shot, I'm going to charge one of them.
All right, both of you please make a reaction roll. Anybody who
Oh,
is
man.
engaged in this combat can make a reaction now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
probably come in on the next round just because I'm really fucking slow.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what was your reaction?
Six reaction.
All right. So they're going to go first. They rolled a 16. They got an explosion. Oh, wait, never mind. You got 20. So
yeah.
you're going first.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm assuming Rockbeak was in front of me, but I'm basically going to hop over him and kind of like just vaulting a fence, if you will. I'm going to try and bury my Kopesh in the chest of one of the leading sirens here.
All right, make an attack roll.
Right. See if I'm actually doing all this right. So that is 19 after bonuses, it looks like.
All right, this particular siren is an extra, so you dispatch of them. You can go ahead and describe your execution.
Like I said, hopping the turtle-like fence that was in front of me, I take about 3 bounds as my long legs will actually carry me, and one full stroke, I basically stab through and then impale this poor siren all the way to my thumb knuckle in this on this very worn copper Kopesh, and then I suppose with the end of the strike, I kind of push him off the end of the blade, and then kind of like palm strike him into the floor, just knocking him there on the deck.
All right, and as you dive your blade deep into him and knock him onto the floor, you hear like a blood-curdling scream come from this creature. His blood flies everywhere, and it hits into the ground, water splashing up from the puddles that have begun to form from the intense rain. It's very dark up here, almost completely blocking out the sun, but there are still slivers of light that tend to make it through, so it's not as dark as nighttime. But it's dark enough so that you wouldn't receive penalties if you have any negatives in the light, though. And
oh, perfect.
So then you take him to the ground and kill him and dispatch of him quickly, as then another one brings his club around to you as he sees you take his friend down. What would be your make a defense roll?
Oh, yeah. It'll be 14 on defense there.
All right, he brings his club around to you, but you quickly notice him in time to block it with your Kopesh and your offhand. And then the other one rushes Rockbeak. Rockbeak, make a defense roll for me. All right, he rushes you with this same club and tries to bring it down upon you. You push him back with your spear, block his attack, and push it back off of you. And then the last one will attack Kel again and make a defense roll again. But this time he's going to have a +1 to hit because one guy's already attacked you.
All right, perfect. That would be 13.
All right, he had a 21 versus your 13.
Oh, brutal. All right, let's hear it.
So he has a 1 boost on you. How much armor rating do you have?
Give me a second here. Armor rating. No, where the hell did we put that? I think. Oh, I'm just wearing a quilted jerkin, and
So with, I think,
so.
yes, a 2 armor rating. Because, yeah, you have a 2 armor rating because you don't have basic armor training. I remember that now. You have an armor rating of 2.
Okay, yep, there we go.
All right, he's going to do 4 damage to you. Is that enough to put you into the quick or not? Just for the description, the purposes? No. All right, yeah, you're not into the quick. All right, because he has to take you to 7 or less health to be in the quick. So this isn't a brutal wound. He brings his club around, and you see the sharp serrated teeth. You get a close look at them, and they appear to be shark teeth embedded into the club. And he rips across your arm, leaving a gash in it, but not cutting so deep as to immobilize your use of your arm. But it does leave a nasty gash, and it hurts as the serrated shark teeth rip into your flesh and tears shreds of flesh away as they fall onto the ground, and the blood mixes with the puddles and the blood of the siren you've already killed as the deck starts getting awash in blood as well as water. And now it is Rockbeak's turn in the action order.
All right, Rockbeak is going to stab the closest one in the gut with his spear, or attempt to.
That would be the one that just attacked you, so you may make the attack roll. Alright, you finish him off. Go ahead and describe it.
Rockbeak thrusts his spear deep into his belly, twists it around, and pulls out his innards like one would if they were eating spaghetti wrapped around a fork. And as he pulls out his spear and his innards just pull out, he does a quite quick flick of his wrist as he cuts through and severs his innards as he pulls his spear back out and throws off the guts onto the deck.
And the bile spills out from his innards all across the ground, producing a sickening smell mixing with the blood and gore that's already been here. And his body and blood are added to the carnage on the ground. Alright, John, it's your turn now. Why would you like to react? There's 2 sirens left that are focusing on you, but there are many more on the deck. They're focused on Kel right now, so if you wanted to run away from them or come up on them, they wouldn't really notice you. So you have pretty much free reign to do what you like right now.
Fantastic. So as I climb up through the trapdoor, climb up on deck, and I see this chaos, this maelstrom, I see these blue-skinned, bird-taloned, like humanoids, and I look at them and I realize they're not Ulfers, they're not Mihangi, and then I start getting really mad, really angry. Like I was so scared, so freaked out they were coming, and these guys are attacking us. So I dig into my cloak and I'm going to make an attack with a thrown object. So I'll go ahead and do that at the nearest one that's attacking Kel at the moment.
All right.
So I sort of jump up on the side of the mast, like where the mast is, where they tie up ropes. So I sort of jump up to that for some heightened leverage. Make an attack right here. Oh fuck! Double 8s. Okay, that's awesome. Oh shit, that's another 8. Holy shit. Okay, so that was 24, and then plus a 6 and a 4, so that's 34, plus 8. That's 46. Am I getting it right? 42, something like that.
The point is, he's dead. You killed him.
Yeah, I think so. So, just furious, just absolutely, just I cannot believe how scared, how angry I am that these guys are just attacking our ship right now, and I thought they were me hunky. So I reach into my bundled a green cloak, which was stolen by me not too long ago from a freeing trader. I take out just a giant piece of coral rock, a huge, just has oysters on it. It's just like a savage sort of rock you get from the coast. I've been carrying it with me for weeks, or for chains now. And I just grab a hold of this rock and I jump up on top of the of a pile of ropes on the side of the mast for leverage, and then I just bring myself up. I extend my arm and I launch this huge, giant, brick-sized coral piece of rock straight at the siren. As the siren is just about to do an attack, he's opening his mouth to scream his siren blast. Then suddenly, a massive coral rock just bursts into his mouth. He's breaking all his shark teeth as the tiny bits and fragments of the teeth, the bone, sail and splinter, and blood pours everywhere as various fragments of his teeth get shot like a shotgun inside of his throat, obliterating his neck. His neck explodes from within, from all the shrapnel from within, from the shark teeth shrapnel. As then he has this huge rock in his mouth and he can't move. He's paralyzed, and he does not die instantly, the poor fool. As he then starts rolling back on deck, he drops his weapon and starts trying to dislodge this rock, which has now been fused to his head, as he then begins to tumble and roll across the blood and slickened floor of the deck. This piece of trash. As I just look with just absolute fury, just wild anger in my eyes at this pitiful wretch, and yeah, I'll pass my turn.
John, I got a quick question for you. You attacked one
Sure.
of the sirens that was engaged with me, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so as you're describing this, is this rock flying over my shoulder?
Yes, it is.
All right. When it's my turn, I've got something for you. As we were.
All right, Phil, you finally make it up onto the top of the deck now, and you can make a reaction roll and add your reaction to the rest of the combatants, so we can see your place.
I rolled a 17 earlier.
Oh, all right. So that means you're gonna go right after Kel then.
No worries.
All right, Kel, this is your turn.
So, as this boulder flies over Kel's shoulder, and just a question for the flame tender: what the excuse me, the siren that was able to connect with me and gash open my arm, was he the one that was slain, or it was the one on the left-hand side?
No, it was the one on the other side.
Oh, okay. So, as I kind of bring the Kopesh over to block his club coming in, which opened me up on the right-hand side to be viciously sliced open, and this coral rock completely bashes his face in, I just kind of wince as I feel the rush of wind that goes by me, and
Shockwave.
I feel it. There's a few bits of shell that kind of hit his chest, but he ignores it, and he will take a step away from the combatant on his right-hand side that attacked him. And as he's taking a step in that direction, he's going to try and slit open his belly, moving at the same time here. Ooh, wait. With a 19 after bonuses here.
All right, you kill him.
Oh, fantastic. So, as I described before, he's going to step away, and then he will slit a line just right across his navel, splitting open his abdomen, and a bit of his intestines will actually pour out there. He'll try and keep his shit and his organs in with his free hand as he'll collapse to his knees and then die a few moments later. Just to end my turn there, I'll shoot a look at our or Bob and she, and then I'll kind of give her a grim wink and a nod, and then looks for my next combatant.
Yeah, I return the look with a with just sort of a very different face than you've seen before. Whereas before I'm quite shy and tepid and just unsure. Now I'm just like furious. My eyes are sort of angular as like a predator's, as I'm just hungrily looking for another victim.
And then we go to Phil's turn now. And Phil, just as you get onto the deck, you see all these things that are described happening. And once you get your bearings
Wow.
off deck, you see that the sirens that were carrying off people tangled into nets have finished what they were doing and stepped away. And now you're completely surrounded by no less than 10 sirens surround all of you, with more crawling on deck. One of them looks quite a bit larger than the other ones and bears many scars on him.
I am going to use my my weapon to prepare some parries. And so I'm gonna add using leaning on my staff, walking up to the deck. I'm just gonna lift the bottom end of my staff and hold it horizontal. And going to try to try to halt the attack by rolling my diplomacy.
What language are you going to speak in?
I am going to try to speak in Thorben.
All right.
So that is a -4, -3. So that is a 2.
All right, what do you say?
Seeing as how long it takes me to say anything, I'm just gonna say stop.
All right. You get absolutely no reaction from anyone. I believe Rockbeak is the only one in the group who can actually understand what you're saying as well in that language. But
Yep.
so you get absolutely no reaction from the sirens, and then you see the big siren that's in the lead of them. He takes the time and he opens up his mouth and lets out like a screech.
Uh-oh.
And for Kel and Rockbeak, you're the ones he affects, and it only does 1 damage to you. But both of you take 1 damage as your ears start to ring, and you shake a little bit even from this massive sonic blast that gets blasted at you. And then the next thing you guys know, like as you're reeling back from the screech, nets just get thrown on, just start falling on top of all of you as the group of sirens, like all 10 of them, cast their nets at you, and the nets wrap around, and you can't quite keep your footing as they pull the nets on you. You stumble this way and stumble that way, and you slip on the viscera and gore, and Rockbeak, you step on the intestines of the man you disemboweled. You slip on his own intestines and fall back onto your shell, and as you're tangled in the net.
Oh, God damn it.
And then they pull you to an O'Neill, right? That was your character's name?
Yep, Inni.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. The net wraps around one of your horns and tugs you to the ground, like head first into the ground, wrapped around one of your horns. And Phil, you're far too slow to react as the nets descend upon you as well.
I do have I have done parry, but like 100%.
Mhm.
I'm really fucking slow. Yeah.
All right. The nets wrap around each of you, and the force is just overwhelming as each of the sirens, no less then 2 sirens for each of you, 3 sirens for the bigger and stronger looking of you, as the nets pull on tight and they begin dragging you back across the blood and the gore. As some of you might get some viscera stuck on your your hair and whatnot, as you see like some of the bile from the man Rockbeak disemboweled might rub across Rockbeak's beak as he gets pulled through the bile pool that he created. And they
swearing and more ghoulish the whole time. If he's going to assume he's going to be drug over deck, but if he gets a moment, he's going to feebly attempt to throw one of his daggers at the nearest, because he's got like half an arm free. The other arm is pinned to him under the net.
I'll give you that throw, so go ahead and make the attack.
Ooh. It's a good 16 there.
All right, and you hit one of them and kill them. You hit one of the people that are trying to pull you and kill one of the extras. So go ahead and describe what you do to them as you throw this dagger as your last act of resistance.
So, again, any colorful profanity in more ghoulish, if anyone can understand me. It just sounds awful. But he's going to be floundering around. He snakes an arm out through one of the gaps, and he'll lean over onto his right-hand side, and with his left arm, he just pumps and then buries that dagger in the back of the head of one of these sirens. He goes, "Take that, you fucking bastard!" And he's fighting tooth and claw, trying to cut the net, trying to get out. But he's done. He's sapped his strength. He's bleeding.
Has my character's mask been removed?
Yes, as he's being dragged across the deck, it probably comes loose.
All right. So anybody who could see it would see, instead of having eyes, there are 2 gaping holes in his skull. And he's weeping in Thraxa. My plants, my children. My plants, my children.
As you're weeping that sorrowful requiem for your plants, I'm screeching and I'm trying to claw out with these talon fingers, but yet the shark skin nets, no doubt stolen from various sailors, and just wrapped and just restitched together. Sirens know their nets, so I'm just trying to cut through those, trying to break free, trying to escape artists out of it, but it's just not doing it. So I just try and claw somebody's ankle, the bird talon ankle, and just trying to just swipe out as a last sort of ditch effort. But alas,
as you swipe out and you nick the ankle of the big one, and he looks down at you in disgust as he rears his foot up as you nick him and comes down and snaps onto one of your claws. Doesn't quite break it off, but it cracks your finger as he snaps palms down onto your finger that you tried to claw him with, and cracks your finger.
I squeal and just kind of then adopt the fetal position, and to try not to break anything else. But yeah, that's.
And then they hoist you guys up one by one. It takes a few sirens to lift, people as big as Rockbeak, for example, with 250 pounds. And Kel, how much did your character weigh?
He's 197.
Yeah, for the bigger of you, that takes at least 2 sirens. For Rockbeak, it takes a good 3 sirens to lift up, but they lift you up in your nets and they toss you overboard. And you fall down and crash onto a boat below, a small rowboat. Rockbeak actually breaks one of the seats on the boat as he hits into it.
Yeah,
and
fuck you all, you bastards.
The rest of you just takes a few bumps and bruises as you hit into it, and with a heavy thud. And the sirens descend after killing or capturing anyone left on the ship. And they take you away on these small boats back to a larger boat off in the distance. where they drag you up again, and we go into like a montage as they drag you up and drag you down into a holding cell. This boat obviously used to be a slaver ship before it was commandeered by the Sirens, as they chain all of you up and strip you all of any meaningful possessions. And anything that even vaguely looks like it has value, they take.
Do they take my hat, my rags, the pouch that's on the rags, like that's on a bead, like it's on a bead thing around my neck, like my staff? How much are they taking, roughly?
They take anything that looks like value and anything that looks like a weapon. They'll leave your rags, but they'll take your beads and they'll take your staff.
They're taking my most valuable possession. No, not my little pouch. Fuck.
Oh, Kel is seething, and he's going to try and bite somebody if they try and touch him or take his Kopesh.
All right. He bites.
Also, he's biting anyone. He is snapping at them. He's gone feral. He's feral.
I have a little bit more oomph there.
You got to do what the giants do, so I do as well.
All right, anybody who is biting, you bite down into them occasionally, and they give you a firm backhand, and maybe even bring like the bludgeoning end of their clubs down upon you, beat you into submission, maybe even unconsciousness, how much you fight. And Rockbeak, as they go to strip Rockbeak of his belongings, he actually bites one of their fingers off.
Oh.
And I eat it.
And then,
attaboy.
Taking what's in my little pouch on my bead that's the worst thing that would have ever happened to my character. So, do you mind if I try to roll a sleight of hand to take what's in the pouch out
go
before
ahead.
they take the beads?
Yeah,
Because
go
they've
ahead.
got 1 second. What's my sleight of hand? Oh, I have 0, but I have plus the deck. So, ooh, that's a 5 to rip open the pouch and grab what's inside.
All right, you rip open the pouch, but everything spills to the floor.
No.
Starts rolling around everywhere, and
I'm scrabbling blindly, trying to find this thing, the thing which I dropped.
and then you just feel clubs come down upon you as they start beating you for your insolence of trying to take back your pouch from them and trying to ripping it open, and they start just bringing the clubs down on you, beating you into the dirt or into the floor, I should say.
Alright. My character is probably going to lose consciousness at this point because coincidentally is when I'm going to have to leave. But I will continue to listen into the call, and I will add stuff when I can. But yeah,
No worries, dude.
my character is a sniveling, passed out wreck.
All right, and Kel, as they disarm you, you jump on top of one of them, as you said in the chat, and just start choking him out. And then they pull you.
I'm attempting to break his neck. There is what I'm doing.
And then, go ahead and make me a brawl roll real quick. I want to see if you are going to be able to actually kill him before they get you off.
Oh shit! Oh man, I just rolled double 8s there.
All right. No further rolls will be
Nice.
needed. I'll let you do it. Do the double 8s. So you go, then you start choking him out, and then you crack his neck, cracks under your pressure. You can describe any further detail that you want to do of your brutality that you do upon him.
I am fully going to let my hatred passions kind of overrule my actions at this point. He's completely lost any sense of calm at this point, and he was already a beggar and a brigand to begin with, and didn't have much in the way of personal belongings, and to be put upon by these godforsaken fish bastards. He will absolutely wait for the time to leap upon one of them and just effortlessly and very efficiently bust the neck of one of them, and he'll take a strike to the back of the head as he breaks one, and he'll try and turn around and grab another guy, and then as he's bringing his open mouth in to bite out somebody's throat, it just bam, 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 and he just clubs coming from any direction, and it's blackness. He knows nothing. He doesn't know if he's dead or not, but yeah, he's gone.
And then to
I
rock.
see the
Oh, well, yeah, you can go ahead.
So yeah, as I see the mighty Kel, the mountain, the giant fall, as they're like stripping me of all my possessions and anything of value, they take away the heirloom, the family heirloom of our raid, this copper pendant which I have clasped between my robe, and
I
they take the
will
green robe as well.
actually let you keep that heirloom. You since you bought it as an advantage, I'll say that you were able to hide it away as not to deprive you of
Sure.
that advantage point.
No worries, no worries. So I swallow it, uh, trying to trying to hide it. It's sort of basically like a coin-sized medallion that I swallow. I swallow it, yeah, and then as they're sort of searching me for anything I have, which is basically nothing, they kind of question themselves as they're lifting me and dragging me around why I'm so heavy, as they take out 6 more of these giant brick-sized coral pieces of rock that I've been carrying with me, just strapped to me, as they've been just frustratingly looking at the spoils of their looting me, and they see that there's nothing of value here except for just pieces of rock that I've been collecting, and they scowl, no doubt, as I whimper slightly, nursing the cracked middle talon. But I don't fight anymore. I'm done as soon as that's done.
And then they just, without any further resistance, they don't beat you any further, and they just chain you up in some heavy iron chains.
Oh no! Ah,
Oh, come on.
oh. They're like rusted, sort of coral, like
Yeah.
rusted, like iron. Oh no, man!
All right.
And then Rockbeak will go back to you as you just bit off one of their fingers and ate it. And seeing this brutality you display upon them, they converge upon you, and it takes a couple of them, like 4 of them, hold you down as they pull out a dagger and chop your finger off.
That all you got? I got more fingers where that came from, you fucking cowards.
And then like a couple of them get to the side of you and hold your beak shut, and they grab leather and tie it down and seal your mouth shut with leather straps. And they chain you with iron as well. After they got you chained up, there's usually like a punching bag and just beat you until you're unconscious. Which takes a while as your thick leathery hide does deflect many of their blows. They're kind of surprised and impressed almost by how long it takes to beat you senseless. But they do it though. And
Goddamn Chthon from the Bronx, holy shit.
Oh man, I love this character. It's fantastic.
And as he's just dangling there unconscious, maybe his tongue is like poking a little bit through his tied up beak, some drool is slobbering onto the floor as his little Chthon body is just dangling, creaking under his weight or the chains, and he's just lump just sitting there, his little head dangling down.
alright, and then each of you who resisted, set each of your characters to 1 HG as you've been beaten into unconsciousness and you've just being woken up now. And the rest of you, anybody who didn't resist will just be at the HG you were left at when the scene ended. So, each of you are now awake, and you're dragged out onto boats again and heavy chains. Rockbeak's mouth is firmly secured, and you're like in almost like a chain gang type thing. And when you go out, the storm's passed now. It's been only about a day, really. It wasn't that long at all. The ones of you who are unconscious have no idea how long it's been, but anyone who is conscious would know it's only been about a day. And you wake up on a beach as you're being unloaded from these boats. It's a beautiful tropical island where you see a large volcano in the distance. I'm assuming most of you have never even seen a volcano before, as they're not common by any means. and you probably don't even really know what a volcano is unless you have some skill that would let you know that, because it's not very common in the world at all. And as you get thrown upon this warm sand in like almost a chain gang fashion, the sirens descend upon you all, and they've made sure to bring about 10 people with them to make sure that you are all held down after they've seen how much resistance this little group has put up. And they bring you in, and they start taking you inland, dragging you through the trees and through the jungle and through the underbrush until you come across a small makeshift shanty town where you see there's buildings made out of ruins from ships, like from the debris from shipwrecks and from fallen lumber, all hastily put together, barely standing buildings. You see a variety of species mosey about the area. Every single one of them disperses in a wide berth for the sirens as they come through, showing a clear fear in them. And they drag you all to the center of town. And once they throw you into the center of town, you see a large ogre, the biggest you've ever seen, approaches. He's over 9 feet tall. He's deep red skin. Scars litter his body. He walks over and kneels to the sirens and speaks to them in Moolish. Do any of you speak Moolish?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
I speak Moolish, but I'm unconscious.
Alright. And he speaks to them in Moolish, and they have a short exchange. And then the sirens go to leave, and he unchains you and rips the leather off of Rockbeak's beak.
Ah, you goddamn bastards.
What do you say that in?
That's his A's.
Alright. He responds to you in Dazazes. You are on the island of the lost now. This place you will work and you will slave for the rest of your days for the sirens. Get up.
Yeah, we'll just see about that, won't we, pal?
He looks around at the lot of you. I am the sheriff of this island. I have been appointed by the sirens to keep order and keep the loot coming. Each of you will be to pull your weight. If not, you are to each collect food and valuables for the sirens, and if you do not pull your weight, we shall beat you into a bloody pulp and give you one chance more to pull your weight, and should you fail again, you will be cast into the silver mines where you shall work in the heart of the fire mountain until your feeble bodies give out and collapse, and you die from exhaustion alone and scared in the deep caves. Now be gone with you. I do not have time to babysit. You best be getting to work. As he walks off without any further introduction.
Well, this didn't go according to plan, did it?
Kel is standing to the left of Rockbeak, and his eyes are narrowed to slits as he's just glowering at everything. He's furious, and he's trembling under just under the surface as his calm is gone, and he's letting it be that way. But he's got enough wits in him to hold his tongue, at least for now.
What is this place, and what is he saying? This work? To work what exactly? What? I'm looking around, just utterly confused, bewildered. What? Where? Why are we here?
Think of a slave camp, but instead of a camp, it's the whole island.
A slave island is dump.
What is a slave?
That's us, sweetheart.
Kel will cock this rather handsome red eyebrow and just slowly look down at her like, fucking what? You don't know what a slave is?
I look up with just complete utter confusion. Like, what? No.
Like Kel's got an expression like, I ought to slap the shit out of you, but my hands are chained. He doesn't
So they
say it,
unchained
but
you.
he gives
They
you-
unchained you when you were left on the island.
Oh, so yeah, he brings his hand up like,
I
you know what?
step back.
Just forget it. Just never mind. You will see. Just wait and see.
Okay. It's sort of absentmindedly nursing a broken talon in the middle of my right hand, and just looking around. Just so, are we to? Is this our new tribe lands? What was he saying? We have to gather food for the
Cyrus.
site.
Yes. Do they have servants where you come from?
Servants?
People who
No.
do things
What?
for you.
Oh, like a mother. Yes.
Oh, God help us.
No, he face palms. No, just no.
I look completely confused. Just
Listen here, we
looking
do all
around.
the work, they take all the goods, and they don't kill us.
Okay, I see. So what does this work? What do we have to do? He said get food. What like mushrooms and squirrels and deer? I look around at the jungle scape.
Island, but possibly.
You as you look around, you notice the town is moderately sized. Like it's not like a huge city or anything like that. But it's bigger than a village. There are quite a few makeshift huts that have sprung up around, and off in the distance you see some farmland, like right outside the town. Like there's like a small clearing with farms here and farms there, but nothing of significant size. If anybody is very familiar with farmlands or anything, you would know that these farms are extremely small and they probably barely produce anything, barely enough for the farmers themselves. But there's one exception to this. Is you see one rather large farm that looks like it must have cleared some trees out to make way for, and it actually seems like it would produce a moderate amount of food, possibly enough to even supply some to the sirens, but definitely not enough to supply food for the entire village.
I want to make a quick academics, so we'll see if I can possibly get a rough number of the population here.
All right.
That'll be about 17.
Judging by the houses, you would assume that there are at least maybe around the high 2000s in this village.
Okay, all right. Kel is kind of doing the mental math here.
As you're sort of looking around, I do spot the passed out, unconscious form of the strange tree man, which was upon the ship. As he's there, like passed out, maybe still clasped in chains. Maybe they thought he was dead. I do rush.
Yeah. The tree man is like dipping in and out of consciousness, and when he's in consciousness, he's like weeping in Thraxa. So he's not much help. Like,
Yeah.
Like he would be able to like pick himself up and move himself, but like with much coaxing, he's not having the best of days.
Yeah, so I sort of rush up to you and sort of inspect you to see exactly what's wrong with you. You're not moving that much. You're saying something. At least you're saying something. And I look at your strange bark and your creepy face, but then sort of then makes sense. After all, you are a tree, so why would you have like eyes like normal people? I suppose. So then I look around for like some sort of some sort of container, like a bucket or like a coconut sort of that's been left outside and it's gathered some rainwater, and I just take that and just pour it on your head because that's what you do, take care of plants. So I pour water on you.
When someone dumps a bucket of water on my head, I like spin around to where it kind of came from, and just like look at you with my sockets.
So the bucket then drops as it falls on you slightly as I like bound back like 3 meters, just like boom, just rush back into the trees, just scared by that sudden movement.
And I'm just like, in Dazazian, say, betrayers, usurpers, godspawn, and then just like kind of collapse back into myself, just weeping, grandfather stolen.
Kel, I think the dread has taken him. He's in the nightmare. I say, pointing towards the big tree.
Kel will roll his eyes and is your character still, I suppose, in the fetal position, or is he still like partially laying down? Phil?
Sorry, was that aimed at me?
Oh, yes, it was you. Is he? Sorry, go for it.
Like he's kind of like pouring at the earth, weeping.
Is he like? How is he oriented? Is he laying on the ground, or?
He's like half crouched, like on his face, like beating the earth with his huge hands, just in a mixture of just impotent rage and despair and grief.
Kel will walk over and kind of take in your wood-like form, and then kind of again, he does not hide his disgust of your treeness. And
yeah, as you touch me and like jostle me about.
Oh, he's not going to touch you just yet. No,
okay.
no. He's just looking at. He's towering over you, and then just looking at. You just see his golden toes if you're looking at the floor.
All right, well, you lovebirds, have your thing. I'm gonna go find us some shelter. One of these sorry sons of bitches is gonna give me their house. I ain't sleeping out here under this hot sun. As Rockbeat just waddles off towards the city and the first big hut he finds.
All right. What do the rest of you do?
Kel will poke Phil's character with the big toe of his right foot. Say, "All right, you come on now."
Like the weeping stopped as I orientate myself towards where you are, and I'm just gonna say, please find plant, tree, bush, flower, vine. Please find.
Kel will stoop over patronizingly and then look into your sockets and go, "Open what is left of your eyes and see that we are in a jungle on a tropical island. There are plants everywhere. Now come along." And he'll just look at our Bob and she, and then just he glares and he gives you a look like, you come along as well, and he'll just storm after Rockbeak.
Hearing retreating footsteps, I'm just gonna slowly follow, like kind of staggering, like I'm 100% like character is fucking blind, staggering until he manages to touch her.
Shit, I didn't know.
Until he manages to
God
touch
damn.
her. And,
My character's a complete bastard.
and
Just a
then
little bit.
finds like a tuft of grass or a tree trunk or a bush or something, and then he just spends a moment just like caressing it, and then like he kind of straightens up, and then goes from plant to plant, touching it and feeling it slowly as he makes his way after you. And like the sobbing hasn't abated. He's still mumbling to himself in his weird language, but he's following. He's doing what he's told.
He's
I
following,
am.
but slowly. That's all right.
Oh, very slowly. Like he has a speed of like, okay, from what you can tell, he has a speed of 7.
Oh, all right. As
Like,
I'm kind of
it takes me fucking years to get anywhere.
So as I'm walking down this kind of like this deer path, well, obviously not a deer path, but a well-worn dirt path in the jungle, I'm not even going to stop. I'm going to pluck one of the kind of, I suppose, flowers of paradise. This pink and yellow, almost like a geranium-looking flower, and I'll turn, seeing that you're taking God for fucking ever, and I'll walk back over to you and I'll say, "Here, have a flower. Now, come on." And not understanding that your character is indeed blind, so he just puts it in front of your face.
I actually reach out and grab it, and I just like look up and like hold the flower in front of your face and turn the petals of the flower towards you, and just hold it there for a minute and like put it from side to side around you, and then look at you and like say, "Thank you."
There's a softness that you haven't seen yet kind of wash over Kel's face there for a moment, as maybe taking in the beauty of this flower almost brings a modicum of peace back to him. So the trembling of hatred just slightly abates. You see that softness, and he goes, "All right, come along." And he will actually return, going back down the path, but at a significantly slower pace, but still keeping an eye on Rockbeak.
So I'm watching, the tributes given to the great tree. So I find the thing which the sirens did not take because they don't see any value in it, but the deer carving that was given to me earlier, and I take that and I also put it in front of you, the great tree man, the great tree one, and I just kind of show it to you, and I show it that I still have it as I sort of help you along, also using you as shade, as a consequence as well. But yeah, moving along quite quickly and trying to like push you along, as if I'm sort of like pushing along like a stubborn sort of sheep or something, or like a cow that's just pushing you down the trail.
Yeah, sure. Use a cattle prod, it works well.
All right, and so Rockbeak, you're going off towards the biggest hut you can find.
The biggest one that's close by. I'm not walking halfway across the island to get to one.
All right, and I would remind you that Phil, Kel, and Rockbeak are all currently at 1 health in the quick after suffering a vicious beating from the sirens, and you're having a rough time even getting around, much less starting a fight with someone. Just as a reminder to you, if Rockbeak plans on trying to forcefully take something from anybody.
Right.
So without much effort, you just follow and just look around and see a big hut and walk towards it. And once you get there, you didn't notice from quite so far away, but once you get closer, you see that it has a ditch dug around it, almost like a moat, if you will, kind of. But it's filled with sharpened wooden spikes, and there's no way across that you can see. But there is, on the other side of it, a rather fit-looking satyr who is holding a iron longsword and there's a large piece of wood that looks like it could act as a bridge across it, but it's on his side. And the building itself is made out of, you see it's like some different pieces of ship that have been worked together and tied together with rope and everything. And the roof of it are makeshift wooden panels that have been carved from dead trees and stuff. It looks horrible. It looks like a really, really ramshack thing, and it might fall apart at any moment, but it is larger than any hut you've seen so far. The gap itself is maybe 4 feet across and about 7 feet deep.
Gonna kind of stoop over and kind of murmur to Rockbeak. Perhaps until our wounds are healed, we should probably find the second largest tent in the village. Huh?
Yeah, I guess the gods are just laughing at me. Who would have thought of Sata here with the iron sword? He just mumbles off to himself, and he just hobbled off to the second biggest hut.
Alright. This one, you see, is also made out of ramshackle parts from different ships, but it's much smaller. It looks like it could probably comfortably house maybe 2 people, though, versus the other one looks like it might even house 4. And as you walk up to it, there's no special defense, nothing like that. There is a small wooden sign hanging outside with something etched on it. What languages do each of you speak? Read?
I read nothing, so I don't
Read
see a bunch of
nothing.
gibberish.
Kel reads Dazazays, Morghulish, and Thuban.
Alright. So you're going to be able to read it then.
Lovely.
And it is in 3 different languages, one of which you recognize as Dazazays. And it simply says, dealer of fine things.
I cock an eyebrow at that. Fine things in this cesspool. Kind of a chuckle.
Hey, any of you had the ready words? I don't know what this stuff's saying.
Oh, this is tent merchant of some kind sells clearly rubbish. Look at this place.
Oh, maybe he has. Maybe you have things we can take.
Yeah, maybe he can donate something to the cause. As I just waddle in there.
I'll reluctantly follow Rockbeak inside.
As you walk in, you see this massive 7'3" anthropomorphic tiger as he sits looking around, dusting things off, and he turns towards you with a wicked grin as you enter in, and he zooms in straight on you, Kel, and he speaks in Dazazays. Welcome to Zek's Wonder Emporium of fine wares. Yes, I trade you wares, you trade me food, yes. And you see around he has makeshift tools made of stone and wood, as aware a few rare tools made of copper or iron. None of these would really be considered weapons, like small shovels, hammers, and stuff. They could definitely be used as weapons, but that's not their intended purpose. He has nothing in the way of axes, swords, anything like that. But he does have some shovels, some hammers. He has some buckets and some clothes and different things like that. All of them look really tattered. Like they're obviously been scavenged from shipwrecks.
I kind of scan his wares. Well, we're just off the boat, as you see, so we do not have anything that would be of value to you.
Oh, yes.
What kind of food would you like? Like the wild pig or the what do you call it? The satyr?
No satyrs.
I snort at that.
What How much insight do you guys have? Does anybody have a significant amount, like 5 or above?
Nah, 2.
I got 2.
Kel's is 9.
I have 3 and a ridiculously high enlightenment.
All right. Does anybody have forte in emotions?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I- If you have a go ahead. You guys can make your rolls then as an insight. You can make an insight roll. You don't have quite enough to get it without a roll, but
16 for Kel.
all right.
Rockbeat got a 20.
Lovely.
15.
All right, Phil, what did you get?
$18 on dice. Yee!
All right. Well,
My hold on. 2 plus 5 is 25.
all right. Well, as you see his reaction when he says no satyr, as she offers to find a satyr. It seems reluctant to him to say no. Anybody who rolled under 20 sees there's a reluctance in it, and anyone who rolled over 20 also notes that with that reluctance also comes almost a yearning in his eyes.
Ah, a true connoisseur of the finer meats.
Hmm. No satyr then?
No satyr, but you would do well to find goods that can trade to sirens. Yes, I will trade many of my fine wares for food sirens would like.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to be giving food to the sirens too. We're not going to give it to you so you can get all the glory from them.
No, that's why we trade. Yes, I give you tools, clothes. You find it nowhere else.
Can you not walk? Is your legs not working? I look at him. I now study the creature now with renewed interest.
No, I walk. Yes, but
You
I
walk.
yes, I walk.
Then why do you not get these things yourself? It's just outside. It's easy. I look kind of confused and a little bit scared now because maybe there might be a trap. I kind of look around.
You look around. You're the only people in here. There doesn't appear to be any hiding spots or anything inside. Yes, easy. Yes, easy to find fruits. Yes, it's easy to find the farms, but not so easy to find the good meat.
Rockbeat's going to attempt to intimidate him.
All right. What are you gonna say to him?
I go around. I go around the counter
Mm-hmm.
and I poke his leg.
All right. You're gonna have a -6 to your roll for being in the quick because that he has it blatantly sees how injured you are, and that affects your intimidation.
Okay, that's fine. I poke him in the leg.
Mm-hmm.
And like, all right, listen here, buddy. You're gonna donate and let us borrow some of your goods so we can go out there and get you some food, right?
You can go ahead and make your roll. All right. So you got a total of 7 there. He looks down at
Well,
you.
I already took out because I have 5 intimidate.
Yeah. And that 1 cancels out the explosion, so you
Oh, yeah,
only,
that's right.
so it's just 8 minus 1. So you get
I just poking his fucking tiger in the leg.
he looks down at you with like a little smile. He's like, "You get goods, then we deal. Not before." Kind of sniffs at you a little bit. Never seen something like you before. What are you, strange thing? He pokes you.
Hey, kitty cat, back up now. I have to take a step back. He's trying to sniff me and poke me.
I smell the blood on you. You're bleeding. Are you hurt?
Hey, it's not all my blood. I gave as good as I got.
Yeah, that's almost like a purr.
Seeing this, Cal's going to obnoxiously interrupt. He is a Chthon. Now, Rockbeak, come along. We're not going to be getting into any trouble at this point. Come on.
Yeah, you're lucky my friend here, he's here. We got better things to do. We're just gonna go now. As he just kind of backs up, but he backs up from him. He doesn't turn his back to him. He doesn't trust this cat man.
So
make
you're saying
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Jono.
so I just talked to the kitty cat. So you're saying that if we bring you the good meat, good meat, we bring you that, and then we can take or have this, and I point towards just a giant, just fucking shovel, just rusted and shit.
Yes. You bring me boar meat or fintu. Fintu is the most valuable. And none of you recognize the word fintu. It's nothing you're familiar with.
Yeah,
And,
I'm gonna cock an eyebrow at that.
and he's like, you bring me boar meat or especially fintu. Fintu is best meat. And then Zek trade with you.
Yeah, Rockbeat doesn't know what he's saying, so Rockbeat just kind of looks up with his one eye at the tall frame, because in Rockbeat's eyes, he's the smartest person he's ever met. So he's just kind of looking at him like, okay, do you know what he's talking about, basically? He's just got his little beady eyes just looking at him.
Kel will just nod. He'll kind of like usher everyone out, kind of like ushering children, kind of herding them up to go back outside. But I'll make sure I'm the last one in the shop here. I was not able to catch your name. Zex, you said?
Zekshi.
Zekshi. I'm gonna make a quick perception check. Ooh, shit. Oh, damn. With a 27 actually. I'm gonna kind of spy. Does he have any trowels or possibly any hatchets or anything like log cutting axes, kind of like that?
No axes or any sharpened weapons. Closest thing to that would be a shovel.
Not a trowel, hand shovel.
He does actually. He has some smaller shovels, so yeah.
Okay. Now my last question before I leave is: does he have anything the size of an entrenching tool, like a collapsing shovel that, say, he'd have in the service? Obviously, not in game. This is out of character.
Yeah.
Like a small, compact shovel.
No, he basically has some very small, like hand shovels, basically like a gardening shovel, and then he has large shovels, but no thing that really hits in between.
Okay. I'm also thinking of John's character here. It's kind of a shovel sized for her. Just as I leave, he says nothing more.
All right. Most of the shovels he has, by the way, as a side note, are made of iron or stone.
Ah, okay. Never mind then.
He does have one small shovel made of copper, though.
All right.
Well, it seems like we're going to be sleeping outside unless we start building our own house. And I'm not in the best condition, so if I'm going to go fight a boar, it's gonna take a lot out of me.
Yes, your fingers are still bleeding.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Bastards.
What do siren digits taste like, Rockbeak?
Imagine rotten fish that's been left out in the sun for gods know how long, and then eaten by an ogre and then shot out. That's what it tastes like.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, but the look on their face, it was so sweet.
Well, if we have to stay here for a while, we might as well get some sort of shelter. Maybe the storm, as you say, might come back, and maybe they'll come back. The blue people. We should get some shelter, maybe in the woods.
I mean, I could try to bite a tree down. It's gonna take a while, though.
Oh, it's you get some reeds and you put it together and you tie it.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, dear lady. Let's just go do something. We can't just stay around here.
I've got a
course.
14 on my outdoorsman. I'm gonna just get to work, and I'm listening, but I'll walk over to like a palm tree and then see about making a small lean-to, maybe for like the three of us.
All right. And as a note, frayings are uncomfortable when under trees. So that's just a side note to remember. They get negatives to the meditation rolls and such like that.
Oh,
How far away are we away from the shore?
You
Away
are
from the ocean.
a good 30-minute walk inland. The island goes in deeper as well. You guys are not far from the shore, but not close either.
Hmm. So looking at the kind of pathetic attempt at no, not too pathetic, but like Kel is really messed up. He's hobbling. He's basically on the brink of death, and so is Rockbeak. So I kind of look around. I'm still fairly beat up, but not anything anywhere near the quick at the moment. I look around and I start to gather like materials to weave together some sort of lodging very quickly, like a sort of all these palm ferns that you make into various shelters, and sort of it's very open ended. It's just basically just a roof sort of construction because I got a few grays and outdoorsmen, and also as I'm gathering materials, I would also like to be looking for various fungi that I'm semi-familiar with. I want to see if I can find something that I would recognize, or maybe something similar to what I would recognize. Anything that I could deduce could be of use in a sort of apothecary sort of situation to make some sort of potent healing paste or any such things. So I'll be looking for that. I can probably roll outdoorsman if you would like.
All right. I want each of you that is going to be working on gathering food or constructing the hut to make a outdoorsman roll. Remember to factor in any negatives from the quick. Yes, Barber is healing. Any negatives from the quick, factor that into your roll, then put it into the group chat on Hangout, and we'll go into a small montage as a couple of days will pass by as you guys each work together to try to build something up for yourselves.
Rockbeak's probably just gonna try to like use his mouth to like chop down some trees. Not like giant
All right.
trees, obviously. He's gonna try to bite through it. He's gonna fail because he has no outdoorsman. Plus, he's in the quick.
You don't have to make an outdoorsman if all you want to do is chop down trees, but
Yeah, I'll just try to get the gathering. I'll leave the building to them. I'll try to chop down some trees. Maybe use my hard shell to break some of the smaller like little boulders to try to get like a sharp rock. Maybe as a cutting instrument or something.
all right, for Rockbeak, we'll start with you first, and you go over to the tree, and as soon as you bite down into your beak, you notice that the tree itself, the bark, is harder than your beak is.
Oh god damn! I just kind of spit a little bit of the bark I have. I just like tap on it with my hand. I just step back and kind of judge it, I guess.
You think that it will take you a couple of days to chew through this thing.
do not hurt yourself, Rockbeak. Kel is gonna call from probably like 20 feet away. Almost a patronizing tone.
I don't know what I did to the gods that deserve such a punishment. Everything I try to do, just look up and like, oh, you like this, huh? Yeah. You just like, picking on little Rockbeak, huh?
Kel just laughs.
Rockbeak, you have some experience with trees. You're not, the most experienced with it, but from your backstory, you have seen trees before. You're not like a lumberjack or anything, but this bark is a lot harder than a normal tree's bark.
Now, I go and inspect another tree. Are all the trees like this with their extremely hard
Yes.
bark? Oh. I guess in one last ditch effort, he gets a running start and then rolls into his shell like a ball and tries to ram a tree down.
You ram it and it shakes, and you see a few leaves fall down on you. And
His head pops out of the shell to examine the fruit of his labors, just to see a couple of leaves, and then he just starts just cursing and swearing and thubing, just like, oh, goddamn fucking pieces of shit! I fucking hate y'all! He's kicking all the dirt up and everything. He's just fuming.
Kel
All right.
chuckle from where he's standing.
All right, and we'll switch over to Kel now. As Rockbeak curses at the trees. Kel, he searches around, and you're looking for anything that might help your wounds, right?
Oh, of course. You want to make a perception?
All right.
Or would that be outdoorsman?
That's the outdoorsman.
Oh, perfect. Ooh. Right. Let me see the bonus here. I've got a 14 there.
All right, you gather a few various herbs and mushrooms that you kind of recognize, but the vast majority of the plants are stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah, I'm used to mainland and probably temperate climate. I'm just guessing at tropical flora.
There are a few things here that you do recognize, surprisingly to you. You're not quite sure how they got here, but there are a few things that you recognize, and you gather those quickly. But they are rarer compared to the more prevalent tropical plants.
I'll just commit them to memory and kind of pick them up and stuff them into whatever pouch I have empty.
All right, and Jono, you made a total 9 for your outdoorsman.
Total 9, yeah.
What were you looking for? More herbs and stuff as well? Were you looking for edible herbs or medicinal?
More medicinal. Definitely more medicinal.
As you look around, you try to find some herbs as well, but you recognize nothing here. It's all tropical herbs that you stumble across, nothing you've ever seen before. And you cannot say with any confidence whether this is poisonous or beneficial. And I will leave it up to you to decide whether or not you want to take the risk of gathering random herbs or not.
Yeah, so I'll be gathering things which look familiar, and sort of just gathering them in some rags and tying it up. But I won't be trying them out just yet. I'll be slowly chewing on them each day, and kind of like testing, seeing the results. If I feel really bad after one, then I'll know that's a bad one to try, and wait a while and then try another one. So I'll slowly be doing some trial and error sort of testing. I'm fairly constitutionally well built, so my system can take it pretty well. As I'm just sort of gathering these reeds together, looking at the horrible destruction and careless, wanton just rage that's coming from Rockbeak as he's just destroying this jungle. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting in the corner, just grabbing some dried palm leaves and stripping them down and wrapping them together into bundles, and making a shelter which looks very it's not very obvious. It's very hidden. A hidden sort of shelter. It's not to attract much attention, and it's sort of built between like a thicket of some palms and some trees, and you have to sort of crawl to get in, especially Kel will have to crawl to get into there. But in the sort of area that we're building, I'm sort of constructing this sort of little dwelling, little hovel.
As I'm picking my way through the palms here, I'm kind of, as every time I pass a tree, I'll kind of look at it, kind of glare. I'll flip it off. Fuck you. I'll walk to another tree. Fuck you too. It's kind of, I will eventually, unless someone actually stops me, I'm gonna pick my way back to the shore so I can watch the tide roll in. Hopefully find a center for myself, because obviously my world's been kind of turned upside down.
All right, Jono, how far away were you building your little shelter from the main village? Was it like in the village, a little ways away, really far away? Like roughly?
It's gonna be very close to where Rockbeak has been trying to cut down his trees.
Right.
So sort of in it. So I suppose it'll be probably reasonably close to the town, but definitely probably not in it.
Right.
I'll build something inside the jungle. Actually, not really in the clear.
All right. So you want to be kind of out of sight from the village?
Yeah.
All right. And Rockbeak, do you make any further attempts at this tree, or are you going to try something different?
I'm gonna try to break off like some rocks to try to get like a sharp rock. Maybe then I can use that to try to cut through the bark. Rockbeak's kind of pissed off right now. So I guess I search for like a smallish type boulder and start ramming it. I run at it, roll into the shell, and ram it.
All right. Give me a masonry roll to see if you can get any workable rock out of this, or if you just get pebbles. Let's see if you know how to. If you understand how to work this rock. Or you can
God.
give me an outdoorsman roll to try to find a naturally sharp rock. Your choice.
It's like a -5 if you don't have anything in there.
-4 if you have nothing. So that's a grand total of 9 you get there. Because remember, ones you don't count. So you're unable to find any sufficiently sharp rocks. You find a few here and there, but none of them are even as sharp as your beak is. So yeah, you're kind of out of luck for cutting down the trees unless you want to spend a couple days gnawing through one.
He's really out of options. I mean, he's near death. He can't go like. Even if he found a boar that didn't run from him, he would probably die fighting it. So he just kind of shrugs and just starts biting the tree, start eating the tree. I mean, didn't nothing better to do for now.
All right, and
As he's sort of chewing on a tree, Rockbeak, I approach after doing some work on the shelter, and I look at what you're trying to do, and I say, I saw some people in a place in a port. They say they were cutting, they were slicing wood with the metal, with the iron. Is that what you're trying to do? I just look quizzically at you. You're just eating this tree.
He spits out some bark and looks at it. What do you think I'm trying to do, lady? Trying to eat it? No, I'm trying to cut through it, but I ain't got no fancy metal. I ain't got no stone. It's the best I can do, okay?
But the kitty cat has the metal, does he not? We saw it just yesterday.
Oh, God help me. Do you understand what the kitty cat said? The kitty cat said we gotta bring him stuff to get the stuff, and we ain't got no stuff to bring him. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to get the tree down. I can't take this shit no more. I'm gonna go fucking crazy. He starts gnawing the tree even more feverishly and fervently.
Oh. What, do you want me to get some good meat?
All you hear is him, what you can assume is just swearing and cursing at you through mouthfuls of bark as he's just gnawing through this tree.
I just nod at that and like, oh, okay. I'm thinking, oh, I should have just asked. So I'm gonna go out for a bit of a hunt.
all right.
What kind of roll do you want from me?
So you're gonna want to kind of find like a little stone dagger based on that picture you sent me, right?
I'm gonna nap one. Yeah, I'm basically gonna pick up 2 rocks, and then I'm going to nap a dagger out of one of them.
I'll give you a choice between mason and outdoorsman.
Oh, I've got a bonus in outdoorsman. This will be good.
To make a very crude dagger.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, baby.
What'd you get?
That will be a 29 after bonuses.
Ooh, you definitely make one.
I'm nowhere near the party, obviously, but as I'm standing on the beach trying to get any bit of my lost ataraxia, I'm just going to be taking in the sight, the sound, the smell of the sea, and kind of like clunk, clunk, clunk. I'm making a dagger as I'm doing it.
You can record on your character sheet. You have a dagger that does 2 damage, -1 armor surpass, and boost on 5. Stone dagger. So the -1 armor surpass would mean your dagger only does 1 damage and boost on 5.
If they're wearing armor?
No, just in general. So just basically instead of putting -1 next to the armor, you would put 1, 0, 5 because the stone dagger does less damage than an iron dagger.
Okay, just so I'm doing that right.
Yeah. And so Rockbeak is still nibbling on the tree, and you can give me, Jono, you can give me a outdoorsman hunting check to find some
Sure.
food. Are you just trying to find like a small animal for yourself? Or are you trying to find a sizable prey? Like what kind of thing are you looking for?
Something that I would think would be good meat. So the cat thing was pretty large, so I'm thinking it probably needs something pretty large. So I'll probably be looking for something like you said, boar, and so I know what those are. Definitely.
So you want to look for a boar then?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, that's going to be 17 total. As I grab some stones, some large, hefty stones. From
All
my
right.
hunt.
As you go out and search around, you search and track. It's a couple of hours into the jungle of tracking and following different tracks, but you eventually come across the lone boar rooting through some of the mushrooms.
I carefully stalk up to it, cloven hooves silently, as I've got 5 grades in stealth and 14 in hiding, as I carefully sneak up to it and then get into a perfect vantage point as I ready a huge stone in my hand.
All right, and you can make an attack. You get a surprise round on them.
All right. Okay, 11 and then plus 8. That's going to be 19.
All right, and how much damage do you have?
All right. So base, it's going to be 306. I don't know if I boosted or not, but it's
You
3
boost
damage.
once.
Once, yeah, so 4 damage.
All right, you toss this rock, and it smacks onto a side, but it bounces off of a side. It's thick hide. As the boar squeals and looks around and starts like pawing the ground, looking around from the direction the rock came from. Can you make a stealth roll for me with hiding?
Oh. Okay, that is going to be. It's going to be a 12.
All right, he got a 13.
He sees me.
Yep, he just barely. He notices you. He looks past you for a moment, but then doubles back and sees you, and then prepares to charge you. Now make reaction.
Sure. Oh no.
He
Double
fumbled.
ones.
He got double ones.
I got double ones as well.
Oh, holy shit! They both like
So
fall
this is
down.
what This
Jesus.
is what happens. So just as the ball like gets ready to charge, it slips and falls, and just as I start to run, I slip and fall. We both sprawl on the ground for a good 6 seconds. We just like
Yep.
there's just chaos in that part of the jungle as birds start flying in all directions. Parrots as well. There's just noise and chaos. But yeah, I don't know who goes first. I got a dex of +3, so that's my rating. I don't know if it'll get quicker than me.
You get up quicker than him.
Okay, so I stand up and attempt to run back with a prestigious speed of 25 with a 14 running.
All right, he
as
has
I will-
a speed of 27.
Oh,
He gets up and
he's gonna
starts
catch
chasing
up.
you. You can
No
make
worries, no worries.
you have close enough. You can make a roll. If it's within 2, you can make a roll. So
Perfect.
go ahead and make a roll.
Let's go.
Yep.
Oh yes, 28. Yes, and 7. All right, that's 18 on dice plus. Here we go. 18 plus 5, 23, and then 25 total. Oh, yeah, plus my strength. 26.
All right, you completely outrun him. He
Fantastic.
tries to catch up with you. He gets caught up in underbrush and stuff like that. His tusk gets caught on a vine as he rips it off from the tree, squealing mad, running after you. But by the time he gets himself freed from the underbrush, you're completely gone.
So what I do is I don't actually run completely away from him. So as he starts running towards my direction, I try to circle back. And as I'm running through, I grab another just a huge, just a clay brick, just something huge, and I try to circle back to see if I can get another hit on this thing.
You're able to circle
my
back
attack.
around, and he's just mad, pawing the ground everywhere, squealing and looking around for you. But you're able to circle back around. He didn't expect you to run behind him, so he's not looking behind him right now. He's going forward to in the direction you ran. So you're able to
Alright.
sneak up on him again, and you can make another attack.
I'm gonna get my stoning on. Let's see what happens. All right, that's gonna be 18 to hit total.
All right. And that is not a boost, so it's 3 damage, right?
3 damage, 0 on Sebastian. Yep.
All right, you chuck that at him again, and it smacks into his fat, leathery flesh again, and bounces off of him again. And he turns around, looking around for you once again, still not quite noticing where you are. And make another hide check for me.
Sure. 6. That's gonna be 14.
And he got a 15. He keeps beating you by 1.
He sees me again.
All right, so now make another reaction as he
Here we
tries
go.
to engage you.
Oh, better for me. Oh, that was pretty good. 19 on dice. And
All right, yep, you go first. He got like a 9.
Sweet, 23. Yep. Yeah. So now, as he sees me now, I'm going to essentially just take this chance to jump it. So I'm gonna run up on it and try to attack it. Try to finish it with my my vicious talons. Let's see what happens. I'll make an attack roll here. Hey, pretty good. 13 plus. That'll be 20 total.
Ooh. How much your boost?
Boost on 5s.
All right, you got a single boost, so you do 5 damage, right, with your claws?
5 damage, yeah.
All right, you rush over to and dig your claws into him, but the claws don't get through his thick hide though. He has a hide rating of 5 as you dig into him,
No.
and you almost get through. You did 5 damage versus 1 more damage you would have burrowed through, but you can't quite dig through this thick hide of this boar. He starts squealing about with you, like your claws dug into him. It takes some effort to even get him out of him. Next thing you know, he swings his tusk at you, attempting to gore you. Make a defense roll for me.
All right. Right, that's going to be 18 for my defense.
All right, you dodge him as he swings and gores at you, and you're able to sidestep his gore, and it is back to you.
All right, so as I narrowly duck out of the way of his tusks, I try and one more time trying to go for that swipe. Let's see. Okay. All right, it's going to be 17 plus, it's going to be 24.
All right. That
Some
is going
fives.
to be a double boost. You kill him. What do you do?
Yes. So and also you also roll some vigor, but that won't be necessary. So as he swings around this huge fucking hog, this pig, swings around, he charges at me, trying to bounding. I duck just as it swings, jumps over me, and then as I dart around and then rake under its stomach and to rake up and to dig into the soft tissue below the belly as my claws then dig and dig and dig and dig up into its intestines, and I just burrow. I almost dive into its intestines and start grab a hold of something. Then I yank it out as whatever, like its guts, its stomach acid, its bile is just ripped out as the thing begins to squeal and writhe and noisily in the din of the jungle scape. And then I stand back, kind of shaking from the adrenaline as my hands, both my arms and forearms are just covered in gore. But the thing is now been disemboweled, and it will slowly start to die. But as it after about a minute, I then take the clay brick again and I try to just finish it off, put it out of its misery. Boom! It cracks its skull, and it no longer writhes. As then I look down at the beast and sort of take in the life force of this creature. and I feel rejuvenated and slightly more whole again. And I look at sort of the a feeling of sort of slight guilt, slight sadness overwhelms me for a second as I look at this mutilated creature. But I was the hunter this time, and this thing was the prey, as is the cycle. So I clean up the remains of the bile and sort of clean it up a little bit, and try and start the process of dragging this thing through the woods. But that's going to take me quite a while.
How much strength do you have?
So I've got I think that's a +1 to my strength. So I've got a strength of 9.
All right. Yeah, it's going to take you a while. You've already traveled a good couple hours from camp tracking this thing down. It's going to take you about as long, if not longer, to get back. It's going to be almost nightfall by the time you return.
Yeah.
Make a perception check for sight for me.
Sure. I do have the forester advantage, so like whatever probably issues with traveling through jungle, I'll probably be able to navigate that.
Yeah, this is fine. This is something unrelated to that.
Sure. That's gonna be perception. Is it hearing or just
sight?
Regular perception?
It's sight.
Okay. Sure. That's gonna be +3 plus enlightenment. So we're 18.
You notice this strange creature high up in one of the trees, staring down at you. It has a body similar to that of a possum, with a long tail, but its legs descend into the legs of a frog, and in the end of its frog feet have claws on it. Its face is like a scrunched up possum face with large, beady frog eyes, as a frog-like tongue extends out, and it grabs a large mosquito-like creature from the sky flying next to it and eat it and chews at it as it just stares at you far below. It's maybe 20 feet up in the air on this tree.
Whoa! Like, how large is it? Like the size of a
It's about the size
dog
of a possum, you know, like
possum,
so, yeah, but with like frog legs and stuff like that.
No worries. Yeah, that shocks me. That freaks me out as I stare and look at that thing and sort of study it, trying to figure out what the heck that thing is.
It stares back at you as well.
Yeah, I try and make a mental note of that thing and what it just ate. But definitely, I'm in an alien world, in an alien landscape. The only thing that's familiar is this pig I'm dragging. I'm gonna move around it and basically try to avoid it. But keeping an eye on it and sort of even slightly mesmerized by its alienness and just.
And as you
nice.
You look at it, it pushes off the tree and leaps a good 20 feet through the air onto another tree, and then latches on with its claws and scurries up it.
Wow! I just sort of marvel at that and just slightly smile, wishing I could jump that far. As I then return to the grim, arduous task of dragging this giant pig through the underbrush and through the jungles.
All right, and Rockbeak, while you're chewing on your tree, give me a perception roll for hearing.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let me get it. Uh, 11.
All right, you're just chewing away on the tree, you know, just completely focused on it. And you hear the crunching of bark under your beak, and you just keep nibbling and nibbling away. You're making very small progress, but you are making progress. It's the only thing keeping you sane as you just chug away at it, having to stop to spit out mouthful of foul-tasting bark on occasion. And then we'll go to Kel. You are sitting on the beach, correct?
Yeah. I would stay there for about an hour once I finished my first dagger. And,
all right.
I moved on to the second one. I'd stay there for about another hour after I'd finished the second dagger and made my way back to the camp. What time is it by the time I'm kind of assuming that once O'Neill gets back to our camp, I'll probably arrive at the same time.
All right, it is the 46th day right now, so there's 12 hours of light, so it's basically a normal day more or less. And you're about midday, and you perfectly make that second dagger just as good as the first one. And it's a little past midday by the time you get back because you arrived on the island early morning, and after spending all this time throughout the day, it's a little past midday when both of you arrive back to see what Rockaby still not even halfway done chewing through the street yet.
I am going to judge whichever the daggers I feel is the better one, and keep that one for myself.
All right.
Remembering that our small girl has some pretty wicked claws herself, and as I enter the camp, I kind of teasingly to Rockbeak, I say, "Do not blunt that beak of yours, and keep this well hidden." I'll hand him the stone dagger that I'd made.
He spits out some bark and he just looks at a dagger and like, well, I mean, it could work. I'm not really good with it, but it's better than nothing. As he takes the dagger.
Don't break that. That was it's a rock, yes, but it's better wager your life on that than your own hands, I suppose. I've kind of built a little straw mat on my way back and forth on the way, so I'm gonna try and find a place that is out from under a palm, but secluded, kind of like it's gonna be kind of weird not having any shelter above me, but keeping in mind that I'm not keen on sleeping under a tree.
All right.
But yeah, something to meditate on as I lay it down, somewhere close enough to you guys, but out from under the canopy.
Am I back yet?
Yes, you
yeah,
arrive
not
back. Yeah, shortly after Kel gets back, you arrive. Like maybe 10
Yeah,
minutes after
so-
he gets back.
There's a rustling and the smell of something dead as something approaches, especially if you have lots of grades in smell. Through the trees, you see Aeneas is dragging a huge form. It's basically almost the size of her. This 100-pound, 120-pound pig. This hog, and yeah, she's all covered in some blood, and this is especially going to be quite loathsome to you, Kel, as you see this body and this bile and this meat has been dragged back into camp. But yeah, I come back and look quite exhausted, puffed out a little bit, but still refreshed, as if I went for a stroll, a jog, and now I feel quite ready, quite active. Everything, blood's pumping, everything's sort of ready, and I feel much brighter. My skin is a lot more flush, and I then drag this thing back into camp, saying, "These things are a lot larger here than where I'm used to. At least I think this is a male. I think."
And Cal just gives you an look, but he smirks. And, well,
I smile. Well, this is the good meat, I think. The thing inside the house once, and I see the Rockbeak is still chewing on some bark, and I see the little progress he's made.
I
Maybe we could.
him, otherwise he will not listen. More meat.
Yes. Oh no, I've already eaten, but I was thinking perhaps if Rockbeak would like some before I take this to the man in the hut.
Rockbeak spits out a mouthful of bark and walks over there. And, oh well, paint me up and call me an ogre whore. You did pretty good there. He goes over there and grabs a handful of innards, start eating them.
the laugh is in character. Just
Through
Okay,
mouthfuls of intestines and offal is like, what? Yeah, I can help carry it back to the cat, man. You did a good job. As he just gulps it just slides down his gullet. You just hear this gurgling sound as he just starts just slurping up these innards.
I look quite taken aback by it, and as you're sort of like devouring this thing, I'm just wiping away the blood from my forearms from the pig's blood, as I then wash it away in like some bucket or some sort of coconut full of water, rainwater. Well, after you're finished eating, Oka Hor, I don't know how's your name. We can take this back to the creature and get you something.
Rockbeak is still, he's got a handful of innards, and he grabs the boar by the scruff of his neck and starts dragging him towards the cat's hut.
Yeah, and I follow. I'm interested in this process. I've seen it a few times. The bartering process. Such strange things.
Kel just kind of leans to the side and looks at the sky kind of longingly, thinking of an ogre prostitute he used to visit quite often. He goes, "Oh, Zelda and her scented oils. Excuse me, we're leaving."
Fond memories.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, he has nothing good to say besides that. He's just got a kind of a stupid smirk on his face.
Do I need to make it a strength roll, or can I just drag this thing
Um,
effortlessly?
you can drag it effortlessly with your strength. You just drag it along with no real problem. So you drag it back to Zek's shop, and he eagerly looks upon it as you drag it in. He's like, "Yes, place it upon the counter, yes."
Through mouthfuls of offal, he's like, "There you go. All right, so what we gonna get for this thing?"
He looks to it, like picks up its flabs and licks the blood off his claws and looks all around it, and yeah, it's half eaten.
Well, just the innards. I didn't think you wanted the innards. I can give them back to you. Just give me a second. And he starts retching.
That would not be necessary.
All right, suit yourself then.
I want a cloak. Green.
What? One moment, I'm still examining the beast. He like looks all over it, like tugs on its tusk a little bit.
Should we give you a moment? You gonna get intimate with the damn thing, or what? Come on, it's dead. It's a good board.
Two non-iron items for this half boar.
I
Iron.
wish you wanted the whole boy. I give it back to you, you picky bastard.
You can have your cloak. He grabs a green cloak and tosses it to you.
I quickly fasten it, just extremely happy.
And you, little Chatan, what do you want?
Well, I mean, I didn't kill the damn thing, but yeah, you said no iron. Fuck. I don't think that stone's gonna cut through that wood. I need something to cut through wood. What you got, Catman?
If I had something like that, I would be a very rich man indeed. There are many who wish to cut through the wood of this island.
I just look up at the freaking hulking Fabian-esque Freyin. I'm like, yeah, you get whatever you want then. Ain't nothing news for me.
I'll go ahead and pick out a copper trowel.
All right. You can note that down in your positions. Yes, he's a good boy. Now, you can go now. Bring more meat later, and I shall trade more.
Well, what in the hells do you want for some iron? Like 40 boards or something?
A whole boar for iron.
Well, I told you, give me 1 second, I'll give you the whole damn boar. You make your mind up.
A whole fresh boar, not regurgitated.
Ah, that God, you're picky, aren't you?
Oh my.
Kel doesn't
But-
know whether or not to gag or chuckle at this.
A whole Finku, though. An entire Finku, I would give you 2 iron pieces for.
What is that thing? What describe it for us?
It, a strange tree-dwelling creature. Frog-like legs and tongue. It roosts in the canopies of the jungle, delicacy to the sirens. Body of fur
Ah,
and long tail with frog-like features.
I've seen one of those things.
Oh, they're rare and elusive creatures.
And you're saying that you would give lots for that?
Yes.
Why?
I shall give 4 copper pieces or 1 or 2 iron pieces for it. It's a delicacy to the siren.
I see. And so this food and these things are for the sirens. And
Yes.
I see. So have you ever thought about leaving this place? Are you happy to be here? Do you choose to be here?
You think we can leave, little one? Where is your ship? Take me on it with you when you decide to leave. Or perhaps you wish to swim in the ocean with the sharks. There is no leaving.
You're trapped.
We all are. And we will die here. And our children will die here. And their children will die here. So we must provide the sirens with their food and their valuables, lest we be tossed into the mines. And after the recent disappearances, I would not go in there.
Who else inhabits this island? Slaves, some ogres, and the sirens. Who else?
Sirens do not inhabit the island. They merely come by once a cycle to collect what is due to them.
So we are not supervised very closely, is what you're saying.
There are the enforcers, Arwick's enforcers. He is the sheriff. You met him when you first arrived. They keep order for the sirens.
How do we pick these enforcers out amongst other slaves?
They are the only ones with weapons. If you see anyone with an iron weapon or copper weapon or any sort of sword or axe, all of the wreckage that we find of weapons goes to the enforcers. If you are caught with a weapon, the enforcers will have your head.
Kind of, hides the little dagger in his hand, kind of puts it behind his back a little bit.
Oh, Kel's dagger is kind of stuffed into his loincloth a bit, so he just looks like he's carrying around a big rock for
All right.
reason.
Wink, wink.
Yep. Thanks, man. Kel kind of looks rather thoughtfully. And how well do these enforcers supervise, and how closely do they observe us?
They come around to collect food as a tax from the inhabitants of the village. If you stay out of the village, they will most likely leave you be, but the creatures of the wood will not.
How often do their patrols circle?
Perhaps once or twice an hour.
Day and night?
The patrols are cut in half during the night.
By how many?
I would say there are good 30 enforcers, and only about 15 patrol the night.
Do they patrol in pairs or in threes? How big are their squads?
Single patrols in the day and double patrols in the night. The nighttime, there are very few patrols, for they double their numbers and patrol less frequently.
I'd like to see if I can make a streetwise check and see how well. Oh God, how do I want to word that? How trustworthy this cat man is. With a oh shit, that's a -4. I've only got a 12.
Alright, so the information he's giving you seems logical. Like the bulk of the activity of the camp happens during the day, and you have no idea what is on this island, so it might make sense to double the numbers and cut the patrols in half, but have more people per patrol at the night, depending on how dangerous it is. But you don't really have the information to completely verify or debunk his information.
Okay.
But it
Why
makes
do you
sense.
why do you not ambush these enforcers, as you call them, or these sirens as they come up? Why do you not ambush them? You have things here. You have tools.
The
You've got
enforcers
weapons.
led a rebellion against the Sirens many cycles ago. There used to be many more of them. They came as a pirate crew. Most of them were killed, and their leader left dangling from a cage on a cliff for 3 cycles before he finally broke and submitted to the Sirens. They are ruthless, and if we attempt to orchestrate another rebellion, the war parties may not be so merciful as they were last time.
Hey, it's better to die free than live a slave. And I tug on Kel's like
agree.
little loincloth. I tug on it. It's like, hey, I need to talk to you, buddy. Let's go.
I'll nod, but say nothing. I'm taking all of this into thought and committing it to memory. O'Near, come on. We're done with this. We will see you another time, Zek.
I sort of nod and file out of the strange place.
Yeah, when we're out of earshot from the Catman, I'm like, all right, listen, I got a plan. I'm sick of trying to chew that tree through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to one of these enforcers, right? I'm gonna try to join them. And if they take me in, I'll play the part of a nice little Chthon, a little slave, a little bitch boy, and I'll earn their trust, right? They gotta be holding our goods around here somewhere. So if I earn their trust, maybe I can start smuggling some goods out. We arm enough people, we rise up, we rebel against them, we fuck them. Right? We fuck them or die. I'd rather fucking die than live on this goddamn island. God's forsaken pieces of shit. I fucking hate it.
I see one flaw in your plan, my friend. You're not nice. From what I understand, Chthon are not nice.
No, but Chthon are loyal and Chthon are cowards. And if I play the part, then they'll just think I'm just a cowardly little Chthon who do whatever the fuck they tell them to. When in reality, I'd rather fucking kill them in their fucking sleep, but I won't. I bide my time. I go in there, I find the armory, maybe get our stuff back. We get, every now and again, a couple of cycles, I can smuggle something out. We can start building up an army or something. I mean, better than me chewing through a goddamn tree for the rest of my life.
I say we wait, like you said, but I don't share this this idea to build an army. I say we gather our number, gather our possessions, and escape via some boat. We can Shanghai a handful of people, and a small group leave this island ourselves.
Think about it, though. The more people we get armed, even if they don't gonna come with us, they're gonna cause a distraction. At least give them a fighting chance. I know I'd rather just die with a sword in my hand or something than sit here and rot to death.
But if we get a bolt and try to escape, then what if the storm comes back and they come back?
Then we will have to be painfully careful. You're not afraid of water now, are you?
No, I can swim.
Well, good. Then I suggest we wait a while. Learn this place. See what we can find. I'm thinking right now. Well, this is Kel thinking to the flame tender. I'm gonna see if there's any more fraying here.
Yes, there are. There are fraying scattered about.
Okay.
Yeah, they're of decent number. It's not like they're really everywhere you look, but there are definitely some. There seem to be more fraying than anything else here, actually.
Okay. Commit that to memory too.
All right, you handsome bastard. I'll wait a little bit, but I will talk to the enforcers, and even if I'm not gonna arm the whole fucking city, at least I can get our stuff back.
Oh, of course. I would join you. If just two sets of ears, two sets of eyes are better than one at this point, I will join you.
Hey, you making fun of my eye? Hey, I lost that in a pretty good battle, you know? I mean, I killed him too, you know? I mean, he didn't just take my eye and fucking leave, okay, buddy? I got one good eye.
I was wondering what happened to him. Thank you. He fared worse, I hope? He just kind of gives you this asshole smirk.
Yeah, he fared worse, all right. You tall bastard.
Oh, well. Oh, thank you. Runs his golden fingers through his hair. He thinks he's talking. You're talking about him.
I'm kind of
Right.
casting my gaze around at the other sort of ambient sort of people. Are there people here, other prisoners and inhabitants of this town? Are they all like sickly, or are they all like relatively healthy?
Just like a mix. There are some who are obviously better off than others. Some of them look exhausted and weak. Some look relatively healthy and fit. All of them are in tattered rags and whatnot. Some of them have more clothing items than others. Seems to be a clear divide between the more strong workers looking better off and the people who are more physically weak seem to be in tatters.
This place, this island tribe, is full of various different peoples here, and they do not look very well. This, if they were to fight, then they would be cut down easily. They look weak.
There, by the way, appears to be majority of Freyines, but you do see a number of ogre, moor tigers, and satyrs mixed in with the odd typhon or human.
The least I can do is give them the chance to fight. If they don't want to fight, then fuck them, let them rot and die. But I'd rather die fighting than live a fucking slave rest of my life.
Are we kind of huddled about, kind of like conspiratorially?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking so, but not as like, you know, like holy shit, they're over there plotting against us. You know, kind of like nonchalant.
We're conspiring, but we're not being obvious about it.
Yeah.
As I'm kind of looking about, I'm going to look down at Anir. I'm going to say, that cat thing. You said that satyrs are the succulent mates. You have good eyes in the dark, do you not, sweetheart? He's got this real syrupy, like he's gonna roll a bit of a guile seduction, see if I can and I've got a 12 for my guile. Why don't you tonight, before we all bed down and rest, find a sickly satyr for me, and are you above charming one to possibly come hither? I can see if I can cut his throat and possibly find us some more equipment. He'll kind of wink a little seductively as he's describing this plan to you. Are you amenable to that?
I look up and I see you sort of slightly swaying still, as you're still really, really messed up. But I look up and there's a gleam of curiosity in my eyes, and then I look around and sort of peer out into the distance with very, very good vision, dark vision, and I say, perhaps that is something which could be done if we really need so. You need to find something to help yourself.
I'm not
I
saying
can smell the
now,
death upon you.
I'm saying in a few days when I am fit to travel, I'm asking is that you watch said victim, and I'll cut his throat for you.
Hey, if you can't find a weak one, we know where one of those enforcers live. He's a satyr. Maybe you can seduce him, you know, wiggle your goods around, lure him somewhere, we can ambush him.
And that has he has a nice sword that you could possibly lift, Rockbeak.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a nice sword.
Well, what's our plan then?
Well,
Take a
first
few-
we need to gather our strength. We're knocking on death's door here.
I'm gonna go lay down
Yes.
on my mat while the rest of you conspire.
If we are to hunt, then I would need my hunt sisters, hunt fellow hunters, to be of fit body. I will not be able to carry you should you fall.
If I fall,
looking at
just
your
roll
huge
me
chip
around. I mean, I'm pretty rollable.
Yes, it'll be a shame. No, you should get some rest, and then we hunt. I look a bit like unsure about this idea, but still, the situation calls for it. You got to do what you got to do to survive. But still, there's a little bit of an eagerness. So you're saying that Satyr in that large house, he had something you want? I say, looking
Well,
at Kel.
I mean,
Oh,
he
I don't
did have a
want
long
it.
sword.
Rockbeak wants his sword. I want out of here. And that cat said he very much enjoys satyr flesh. So, well, who's gonna miss another satyr?
Plus, he was an enforcer, so, we kill him. There's a power vacuum there. It'd be easier for me to get in on him, being inside man.
But what if the fellow pack members realize that he's gone? People would notice that, wouldn't they?
Oh well, that's where you seducing him, bringing him out into the jungle, and saying that some boar got him. I'm laying down, looking at the sky a few feet away.
Yeah, I mean, he took a piss, he didn't listen too well, and he got taken into the jungle. I mean, shit happens, right?
Right?
Hmm.
He probably is quite handsome, and he's short. That might be your type, is it not?
Plus, we can take his nice house there, nice defendable house.
I don't know if that's just his or not, but we'll see.
Well, anyway, I'm going to sleep now. I'm too tired for this shit. I'll see y'all in the morning. As Rockbeat just gets to the tree he was nibbling on and just balls up and retreats into his shell. And just goes to sleep.
All right.
Yeah, I head back and sort of mull over the conversation and the plan. Kind of slightly psyching myself up for this, as I'm staring out into the night and listening to the crazy sounds of a jungle at night. The parrots and the birds are squawking and screaming and screeching in the trees at night.
And you also hear sounds of frogs croaking in the distance as well.
Yeah, that's
If
weird.
that's the case, then it's going to be anything like a swamp or a forest. It's going to be deafening. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And now, as each of you rest, anyone who is damaged, Kel made a barber roll for himself, but did anybody else want to make a barber roll for themselves? Rockbeak, you don't have any herbs or anything you can even attempt to. You can make a barber roll with. So you can't make a barber roll unless somebody wishes to help Rockbeak. He's gonna have to heal naturally.
Yeah, so certainly I've collected some suspect mushrooms and some fungi.
Yeah,
I'll be.
you haven't had quite enough time to determine what each of them are yet, so it'd be a risk if you
Yeah.
wanted to use them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I suppose I'll just grab. I'll make some sort of. I'll attempt to make some sort of paste, medicinal sort of paste, but it'll be very very low quality. And I'll try and sort of apply that to Rockbeak. I'm no surgeon. I'm no barber, but like I do know a little bit about tending to a few ailments.
All right,
being
I'll let
from the
you.
woodland realm.
I'll let you make a barber roll with a -2 to your roll because of the unknown nature of what you're doing.
Sure. Alright, that's good. So here we go. Alright, that's gonna be 11 total.
All right. Your salve doesn't really seem to help Rockbeak much at all. Like it doesn't poison him or kill him, but it doesn't really give him any extra strength or sufficiently seal his wounds. His wounds are too grave for it.
Yeah.
Rockbeak, you're gonna just have to make a straight conditioning roll with a -6 from being in the quick for try to regain some health.
All right.
And you do. That was amazing. Go ahead and just tell them what you rolled.
Well done.
I rolled 24. I had 8,
Wow.
7, then exploded, another 8, and then a 2. So.
Rockbeak don't need nobody. He's a good independent Titan.
I'm a strong independent Titan.
All right. Kel, you heal for 1 health from your barbering, and then you can make a conditioning roll at a -5.
Ooh, a big ol' whopping 5.
You do not recover any further than what you healed with your barber skill.
That's after the bonus there. So
Yep. So you and Rockbeak both healed for 1 point. Now you're both at 2 health instead of 1 health.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
then-
I can roll as well. I took just three sort of damage from the
Alright.
from the fights earlier.
so you can roll your conditioning.
Yeah. It's gonna be 11 total for you.
All right, you're gonna heal 1 HG,
All right.
and then so does Kel want to go do what you messaged me about immediately? Like as soon as
no, I'm gonna wait until the morning. So I'm gonna. This is going to be a heal / rest overnight.
all right, and then we're he does have nightmares tonight. I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna go ahead and just disclaim that we're gonna start off the nightmares mildly, and they're gonna get worse as the game goes on.
Of
Oh.
course. Okay.
And so now you still get your conditioning roll from doing this, but later on, as it progresses, you will start to lose your conditioning roll, lose your recovery roll.
Okay.
So right now he's kind of halfway aware. He's dreaming. You know, it's not like a full-on illusion or anything. Like it may turn out to be delusions, and illusions may start appearing later. But right now, he's dreaming that he is floating in the ocean, and the waves are washing over him. It's a cool water, unlike the warm tropics he's in now, but not so cool as to be cold. It's refreshing.
Am I swimming or am I on a raft?
You're just floating on your back.
Okay. Excellent. All right. I just kind of put myself there.
Your hair flows out around you. You see the face of Ara Mazda looking down from you, the sun in the sky. Leviathan's body caresses you gently with a refreshing water washing over you. It's a good respite. And then, as you float aimlessly for a bit, not really knowing where you are, or what even the point of you being here is, slowly you feel something tug at your leg, and as you look down, you see a siren's hand grab one leg, and then another, and then an arm, and then another arm, and then your side as you flail about trying to break their grasp. They pull you under and start pulling you beneath the waves. You see the light of Ara Mazda fade as they begin dragging you deeper and deeper. The water starts rushing into your lungs. You can no longer hold your breath. There's a massive pressure. Darkness starts to engulf your vision, and then a peacefulness overcomes you as you realize there's no more fight left. It's over. You've lost. As the water rushes into your lungs and you gasp one last time before you fade to black, and then wake up breathless in the morning, as if someone had constricted you as you slept. It felt almost too real.
I'm gonna sit up bolt right, just kind of oh god, and then kind of rub my forehead, kind of wipe the cold sweat away from my cheeks and my forehead, and then just kind of sit there quietly for a few moments, just contemplating the last few images of that nightmare, and just kind of murmur in more ghoulish, actually. I suppose that is what drowning feels like. Drowning feels like a dream. Huh. Interesting. He just kind of broods, sits there, and plays with the copper trowel that he has.
And as he's doing this, he does like kind of involuntarily coughs a little bit as he's having a hard time breathing a little bit, and then as he coughs a little bit, he could swear that he spit up some water, or maybe it was just spit. He can't quite tell.
He's a little perplexed at that, and like emotionally, mentally, kind of steels himself for future nights where he might have foul dreams. He kind of casts about and to see about his sleeping companions. Has anything in the camp kind of disturbed them, or are they still fast asleep?
Rockbeak is still asleep for sure, and I can't remember how long does your species sleep for, Jono? They meditate, right?
Yeah, you see Ania, she is sitting sort of just cross-legged in the shelter, and her eyes are still and glazed over. She's staring straight forward, almost eerily towards your direction, as if she's just like almost like the face of an owl, just like peering at you from the darkness. However, it's her face, and she's just staring, glazed eye straight ahead. Occasionally, you see her large eye might twitch slightly left or right, and her taloned taloned fingers, and her arms are sort of folded. Her arms are folded in front of her, but they sort of sometimes grip slightly and then relax, and then grip slightly and then relax, as she dances in the dark realm of nightmare, but not experiencing that realm in her trance, but more doing her nightly avoidance of that realm, and hiding in the dark places of the dream during the night. But she is fairly calm, fairly relaxed, taking her 4-hour meditation trance in this moment.
Kel will watch her for a few moments and just kind of murmur again in ghoulish, more ghoulish, and say, lucky thing, she doesn't have to sleep. I do. Without disturbing anyone, I'll make a stealth test here. Ooh. With a 22, I'm gonna slip away into the forest and see to the roll that I sent you.
Does anybody have light sleeper? I don't think so, but just double check.
No.
All right, so I'm not gonna allow a roll just right now because he rolled so good on his stealth without light sleeper. I'll honor that stealth roll and then you go out and you find what you're looking for.
Okay. Once I'm done, I'm going to pick my way down to the beach once more and attempt to meditate while watching the waves roll in and out. See if I can gain some more of that peace.
All right, I will give it to you without a meditation roll because that the waves help soothe you. You're not under a tree or anything. You're at peace, so I won't make you make a roll. We'll just say that you're good for that.
Excellent. I'll actually probably be out there for a good 3 hours. And I'm assuming I woke up probably just, it's still somewhat dark. It's the first blush of dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay out there until, like, I suppose the equivalent of like 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. So there's good morning light out, and I'll make my way back.
All right, and then for those of you keeping track of the days, the day has moved on to the 47th day, which is still 12 hours of light. So the light in the day has not changed. All right, and
Yep.
then um, with that, we'll end the session here with your soliloquies. As we'll start with you, Rockbeak, and we'll future. By the way, reference future sessions will be a little longer. I just want to kind of give Phil a chance to get back in before we go too much deeper into this. Basically, I've been just kind of imagining his character's been resting at camp the whole time as he's beat pretty bad. So, um,
Yeah.
Rockbeak, you go ahead and give your soliloquy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here one way or the other. Either my dead body's gonna litter the ground, or I'm gonna taste sweet freedom. I ain't gonna be a slave never again. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I'll end their trust, and then I'll fucking move into sleep. I don't fucking care. And if I can get a rebellion going, the rest of you will just bless me even more. So I just bide my time, tending my wounds. I mean, I owe them a lot. Yeah, they took my finger. I'm gonna take more than that. I'm gonna take all their lives.
And then Kel, what is Kel thinking?
As he's now rejuvenated, he's enjoying the tropical breeze, taking in the beautiful flowers, the sun, the dawn. He's finding that his situation is quite foul, but he's finding a positivity in the beauty of his prison. But he does, in fact, remind himself that a cage is a cage, no matter how gilded the thing might be. He kind of runs his fingers across the sharp edge of his stone dagger that he'd recently acquired. His mind drifts back to that nightmare. He's not scared of that nightmare, more interested. He's been a sailor for more than a dozen cycles at this point, sailing in Cold Harbor, dealing with humans, dealing with the waters around the Cataclysite Isles. He's seen some, not all, but more willing to learn. He's not fond of sirens or that foul tongue that they speak, Fatashan. He kind of glowers at a pair of Typhon as he passes them. He mutters in more ghoulish, "I'll make myself a nice pair of boots. And possibly a nice belt to go along with it." His mind drifts back to his life of banditry as a brigand, and he remembers the whorehouses that he stayed in. I wonder if there's a whorehouse here. Gotta have some kind of pleasure in gambling and something of the like. A thief like me should find quite a bit of work spying on anyone else here. He stops and gazes into a puddle that reflects his handsome and golden visage, his mane of red hair. Yes. See what this place can give me before we all leave. I enjoy spending time with these three. Even after a fashion, the tree thing. He kind of shudders at it. What's wrong with his goddamn eyes? I should probably apologize. He thinks about the small girl that he's traveling with, thinking of her curves. I've never seen such a thing as her. And Rockbeak, oh, he's fantastic already. Yes. I can be useful to him and he can be useful to me. He should be called friend. The stage lights fade on him as he walks barefoot back into the camp. The stage lights will shift to another of our companions.
As Aeneas melds and shifts back out of her trance for the night, it's just before the break of dawn. She stands up, sees that Kel has left somewhere. Rockbeak is there. He's still sleeping, snoring in his strange-like shell. Finally, the sound of the jungles has slightly dampened just before the break of dawn, just before the things wake up. But I stand up and walk over to a ledge which overlooks the dark ocean, and you see a tiny gleam of light begin to emerge across the horizon. It's sort of misty or wavy, as if looking upon a hot road in the middle of summer. This mirage-like effect as a sun, a tiny orb of light, begins to climb over the ring of fire in the distance so far away. And I see that tiny orb, which has been heralded or hailed by the pink twilight of the morning. I look at the pendant, the medallion that I managed to secure away, that I managed to hide away. I palm it in my hand and I trace my talon, broken finger over the etchings. Its etchings are of a magnificent chariot. I look upon it and I remember this gift that was given to me by my mother, and how she gave this in remembrance of my father. This small thing from my past, this thing which had led me to escape from that place, that dark place far away, where fear and terror and dread is an everyday occurrence, where you are a victim and then hunter and victim, prey and hunter, prey and hunter, cycle and cycle and cycle. And even such cycles follow me here. But this medallion, this in my hand, and that, and I look over the rising sun, that is a change, a difference. Where am I? What is this place? And what has happened? As I was meant to get to the port, to jump upon a ship and to sail far south to a place that Decay had told me about, but still so lost. But yet in this strange place there is still that. There is still some hope of change. I have to guard myself, I have to watch myself and watch after these others, these my accidental pack mates, pack sisters. I don't know what the term is. I have to look out for them, as if we are by ourselves, we shall be cut down and hunted and weak, but if we stand together, we can work together. And I still feel like I owe them something. As I see slowly Kel begin to walk back up from the beach in the very distance, I spot him through the darkness. I still remember. My eyes sort of fall upon him and what his people mean to me. And I kind of touch the medallion slightly before I then turn back towards the sleeping Chthon and the orc. Let's get everyone up. Let's get everyone ready.
And with that, we will end it. Thank everybody for watching, and we will hopefully be back again next week around the same time.
Yeah, man.
See
Thanks
you all later.
Awesome. Thank you.